Okay, look, I know you think this is a little weird that we're sitting here talking and I just left and I was in a completely different outfit. Well, that's future me. I'm past me. So what I want to talk to you guys a little bit about while they're setting up for this next guest that's coming on, and I'm sure they're going to be dope, but I want to talk to you a little bit about ways to support the channel. You see, there's a lot of work that goes into this channel, and the only way to keep it going, the only way to keep bringing on new people and upgrading the sets and upgrading the intros is by you supporting me. So here's a couple of ways that you can support me, and I'm not sure that a lot of you know this. If you're new to Twitch, you want to look down right here. There's a little subscribe button. That's the easiest way to support me. It's like $5. It's like buying me a cup of coffee. If we're at the bar, you're buying me a beer. If you're feeling a little more generous, maybe you want to gift somebody a free sub. If you are a Prime member, you can use your Prime membership. You get one per month. You can use that on me. It doesn't cost you anything. Now, if you're sitting there on the YouTube side, you can also hit that membership button right there, or you can give me a super chat and then send me off a tip. Look, I know that times are tough, money's tough, and I know that what I'm asking for some of you people might be a little too difficult. So there are other ways that you can help the channel. You can host the stream, share the stream. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, share the stream to everybody. Get the word out. That's the easiest way to help me out, and that doesn't cost you a dime. Those are just a couple of ways that you can do this. Also, if you feel like just sending a tip directly to me, Venmo or Cash App located right here. All right, guys, I think they're coming back, so I need to get out of here. Just remember what I said. We'll see you soon. Bye. What is going on? What is going on? Everybody in the house, what is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip, this, wet. Tell them run it up, no sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch, tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip, this, wet. Tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip, this, wet. Tell them run it up.
What is going on? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Wake up in Cleveland every almost single morning, every single day, as many days as I can get in. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Thursday. Throwback Thursday. That's right, Throwback Thursday. Old school day, especially on Twitch. If you are following a whole bunch of DJs, today is the day where they play nothing but like 90s music all day long. 90s, 90s, 90s. 80s, mostly 90s though. That's kind of, you know what, I might be dating myself a little bit, because when I say throwback music, I think 90s, but I think a lot of these kids out here, when they're thinking about throwback, it could be like the Lil Jon era. You know, we're all getting old. Well, some of us are. I'm aging like fine wine. Let's check out the chat real quick. Let's check out the chat, see what is going on. Oh, let's see. We got hey, we got some people I haven't seen before, but we do have the moderates. We got the mods. We got Lady Beats. We got Ratbone. I'm sure John is in here somewhere. Let's scroll up real quick to see what is going on. What is going on? If I can get this mouse working. All right, there we go. We got T Diesel in the house. We got B Marts in the house. Who else do we have? Who else do we have? Who else do we have? Do we have Mojax in the house? I'm seeing him up. We do have Mojax in the house. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. Good to see you. DJ Biggie, AMI V4. Who else do we have? Moderator extraordinaire, DJ Lady Beats. Still waiting on Lady Beats to let me know when she's gonna actually stream. You know, Lady, you got to stream before they take Twitch down. You know what they're saying. So we gotta get on at least once. You gotta earn that DJ on Twitch name, or we have to change you to moderator Beats. Can we do that? Moderator Beats. Does that work for you? Oh Lord. Okay, so we got DJ Dynasty in the house. Good morning. Good morning, DJ 6. Good to see you. You should interview Lady Beats. You know what? I think I'm going to do a mod appreciation soon. Probably, actually, it might end up being next week. That would be fun. Maybe we'll do that. We'll do that. I have one day just dedicated to all the crazy mods I have in the house. RM Vidal in the house. The man, Mr. DJ J Book, is in the house. What's going on? Make sure you follow J Book. Has a great YouTube channel discussing gear, gig logs, when we have them, a little bit of everything. So make sure you follow that man right there. B-Mar, it's good to see you too. BK Jesse in the house. DJ Charlo. Faust the One. What is happening? What is happening? DJ Jax. Just Jesse. All the way from Trinidad checking in. Hey man, I appreciate you. You know, I'm liking seeing all of these newer people. At least maybe they're not new. Maybe they've been lurking for the past like month, and now they're just like, hey, let me say something real quick. So I appreciate you guys out there. Who else we got in the house? We got Streamlabs in the house. I think that says Dib87 Dib. I think. Screen's a little far for me. And look, we're making love connections right now. DJ Dynasty is a big fan of J Book. That's what we do here. We're all about making connections happen. So I'm gonna try to stay on chat today. I missed a couple. I had as most of you know, I had Z Trip on yesterday, and there were some people asking questions, like the person that's actually coming on the show, and he was like, "Hey man, I asked a question. You didn't answer my question." So it happens. Look, you know, I'm trying to be up on the chat. I'm trying to watch the chat, but you know, the chat can be flying sometimes. And yesterday, I mean, there was like 160 people on the stream, and chat's flying through, and I'm trying to keep up. My mods are trying to keep up. In reality, when I really need to blame, I need to blame the mods. The mods, it's their job to let me know if something important is happening. So it's not really my fault. It's really the mod's fault. And I'm not going to blame one mod because, you know, it's a team effort. I kid. All of a sudden, I'm like, where'd my mods go? It's just been a big riot, a boycott. It's Eccentric in the house. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Hey, if you want to get some good edits, some good remixes, some good blends. I know that's a word not commonly used, but if you want to get some good blends, make sure you follow It's Eccentric. His stuff is top notch. I actually have a few of his joints, and I would play them right now, but I'm not trying to get demonetized, so I will play them on another day. Interview days, we played nothing but you know, generic, cool, licensed music. Speaking of licensed music, so yesterday we had Z-Trip on. I'm playing nothing but this kind of stuff. We get off the channel, and I hit the fade to black, turn off my stream, but for whatever reason, yesterday when I turned off the stream, it asked for verification, and it never asked for verification. You know, the typical, are you sure you want to close it out? Like, yeah, I am sure. And so I didn't see that, and I went off, right? And I was only out of the room for like 3 minutes. Or maybe 5 minutes. John P calls me and says, hey man, your stream's still on. So I go over there, turn it off. I don't think anything of it. Meanwhile, fast forward a couple hours, I'm looking at my YouTube stuff because I always want to make sure that YouTube videos are getting monetized and everything. And I get you can't monetize this flag. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't play anything but this music. Is Epidemic Sound screwing me? Like, it's happened before. Not with Epidemic, but with other companies out there. So I go to see why. Because at least with YouTube, it will tell you exactly where you're being demonetized. It'll tell you the exact seconds that you're being demonetized. So that's very helpful. Obviously, Twitch does not do that. It just, you know, just mutes the sound after the live viewing. So I go to look, and it's at 3 hours and 1 minute to 3 hours and 3 minutes. Some random song that just happened to be playing on my phone because my phone was in the office. So I went ahead and deleted that. I'm not letting, look, there's a lot of work that goes into these things, and I will go back and just edit that out and repost it. That's what I'm about. That's facts. All right, who else we got in the chat here? Yep. All right, let's see. DJ Dynasty says, CT, I'm pulling the trigger on the backpack after watching your YouTube video. Yeah, look, I make jokes about jetpack, and I say jetpack all the time. But in reality, they are really, really good bags. So if you're looking for a bag, if you're in the need for a bag, Jetpack is definitely a company you should take a serious look at. Even before, they were sending me bags, I was buying Jetpack bags. But look, there are obviously good bags out there. Magmas, Odysseys, those are all good bags. But I'm a little, I'm a little more. My preference is Jetpack in general. Ratbone, see, that's what happened. I almost lost Professor BX. I almost lost him. He was like, "Yo, man, you didn't answer me. Is this the kind of thing you're running, where you don't talk to the chat? I can't be a part of that." He actually said that to me. It's like, and I had to beg. Cleveland Terry had to beg. So yes, thank you, moderators, for being around. DJ Easy Music Writer, thank you for the $5. I appreciate that on the YouTube side. Quick question. Let's see. He says, and by the way, this is how you ask questions. You see how DJ Easy did it? He literally essentially walked up to me with like, "Hey, can I buy you a drink?" So I want to talk to you about, Jesus. As Z-Trip would say. So let's see. Bless up. Quick question. Which techniques is the best to go for? I mean, for DJing. I'm looking at the SL MK5s. In all honesty, anything MK2 or higher is going to be just fine for DJing. I mean, if you can get a good deal on a 1970 MK2, there's honestly no reason not to buy it. They're tanks, and they work really, really fine. But if you want to get that MK5, hey, it's a great turntable for DJs. But in all honesty, you can't go wrong. A lot of people think they need to buy new turntables. I mean, I bought the PLXs, but I really bought the PLXs not because I wanted new turntables. Well, it is kind of like that. In reality, I bought them because PLX came out and they looked damn good. So I was like, you know what? We needed a new set of turntables anyway. Let's buy those. Let's see how they are. But for the company. But before I bought those, and we have 10 setups for all of our events. That was the last 2 we bought were PLXs, but the 8 before that, every single one of them used. Every single one of them. Never bought a brand new turntable. Always went on Craigslist, picked up a pair. I told my MK5G story where I bought a full set for $350 off of Craigslist because the guy didn't know what he had. So if you can get them used, definitely get them used. I mean, there's no sense in spending, I think, what are they, 800 a piece, 900 a piece, if you can get them for cheaper. Take a look at the 5Gs. Those are very, very good ones. But hey, obviously, there's nothing wrong with new car smell. So if that's what you want, definitely go ahead and do that. All right, let's take a look here. Pre-owned Joni in the house. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. That is Pioneer. That is the S11, the king of the S11, king of the controllers, and not even the good controllers. He's like the king of the little baby controllers. Pre-owned Joni. He is the perfect example of the guy when you say, "It's not the gear that makes the man." Like, what are you talking about? You're like, "This guy is so good. He could DJ on like a Fisher Price controller." You're like, "No, come on." And then he gets on and literally rips Jazzy Jeff's Peter Piper routine. And we just have to sit there and like, I just spent $5,000 on a new setup. I just needed to spend $150 on on something BS and save some money. So yeah, what's going on, Freon? Dimax Mix. Hi, what's going on the YouTube side? All right, let's see who else we got here. DJ Gemini in the house. Have you seen the new interview feature in Ecamm? I have. It's exactly what I'm using. If you were to take Ecamm, if you were to take Restream, if you were to take StreamYards and look at their interview sections specifically, it literally looks exactly the same. Every single one of them. So I am convinced, and I'm sure that people like Restream are gonna tell me I'm wrong, but I'm convinced that every single one of these is just a module that people have purchased. Some company made this chat feature, and then every company just licenses it, because I kid you not, it is exactly the same. And I find it weird that every single interview module looks the same, feels the same. Like I get into it, I'm like, oh yeah, need to go here, I need to go here, I need to go here. That's not how it works typically. So yeah, but it's good. Here's the problem with Ecamm, and it's all in all honesty. As far as Ecamm goes, it's, in my opinion, the best software for doing this kind of stuff. It's even better in a lot of respects to like OBS. It's a clean layout. It just works. It's very Mac centric because it only applies to Macs, but it's very Mac centric, and it's a gorgeous app. I was actually really sad when I left it. The problem was it only used Skype in the beginning, and Skype for me was a huge resource hog. Everything was kind of being processed on the computer, and I don't have a problem with OBS with this Mac, but for whatever reason, the moment I turned on Skype, or the moment I went to like record, it would just start to struggle on me. So I left Ecamm at that point to move over to StreamYards and then Restream, which is what I'm on right now. But the weak side of Ecamm right now with this new interview module is it's not unlimited. So it gives you like, I want to say like 100 hours. And 100 hours over like the course of the year. And then after that, you have to spend more money. And for me, that's a big problem. Obviously, I do 2-hour shows. Now my interviews go anywhere. I should say I'm a minimal 2-hour show. But the actual interviews, depending on who I'm talking to, what I'm talking about, might go another 2 to 3 hours, which we're not going to do today. I do not want to go 3 hours today. And I'm a big fan of Professor BX, aka Drew. But we all got things to do. I got reviews to make, but you know, hey, we're talking about Pioneer, so this might go long. Having said that, so it only does 100 hours, and then you got to pay. Every other company that does this, it's all unlimited. So 100 hours for me, you know, look, I'm going to knock out at least 6 to 8 hours a week. So we're talking like less than 13 days? I mean, that's insane. So until they can come out with an unlimited module, I'm going to be stuck with these other sites out there. And they only give you, I think it's like up to 5 people. Now look, it's not like I'm bringing in 30 people at a time, but we do our quarantine DJs thing, and that takes, depending on what day it is, sometimes it's like 6, sometimes it's 3. You know, these quarantine divas. That's what we should have called ourselves, quarantine divas. And then we just, you know, whoever's available that they feel like, they'll get on. But you know who's not a diva? J-Book is not a diva. So, yeah. You can always count on J-Book. He's like the only one. Everybody else is a diva. Whoopik is not a diva. Whoopik is just a family man now. He's got children. But like Chris, who? We don't even have a Chris. Rick Webb, definitely a diva. DJ Bar, definitely a diva. Myself, I'm a working man. I'm just always available until I'm not. Okay, let's check the chat real quick because we are going to be bringing him on at about 10 o'clock. So that gives us 7 minutes to talk about, life. The Force is in the house. What is going on? Brandon is, what is going on? Okay, Brandon says, I want to know your thoughts on the new MK7 Tex or Pine. This is very interesting. I have never gotten dual questions about the mixers. About the turntables. That's funny, but I think I answered your question just now as far as that. As I said before, they're all good. The MK7s, very good, very good, very good. Depending on who you ask. Some people will say that it's not necessarily designed for a high bass area, but I've only tested the sevens at NAMM. But if you really want a good review about that, check out Mojax's review. He has a review on the MK7s. So check that one out because I think he was pretty honest with how he felt about them. So check out that. Like I said, the Force in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. Won't have to worry about tone arms and needles if you do phase. Yeah, until your phase don't work, and then you need tone arms and needles. And I'm not saying that they break. I'm just saying that every so often you might run into issues. Maybe you've been DJing for 4 or 5 hours, and then you run out of battery, and now you're stuck still having to DJ. What do you got to do? What do you got to do? You need those needles. I've had issues. I had an issue actually where my phase, not the phases, the actual RCAs connected from the mixer to the phase unit. I had an issue where I had a bad RCAs and they were cutting out of me. So I had to switch my RCAs. But maybe if you're someplace where you can't switch your RCAs and you could always take them from the Techniques, but that's a lot of work. But switching over to needles, hey, it's good to have a backup. It's good to have a backup. Okay. So Jay Smooth says, so how are you still liking the Rain 12s? This is hilarious. This is like turntable day. After the last couple of months, I haven't had them for a couple of months. I've literally had these things for like, I want to say this is, 2 weeks. I've only tested them for like 3 days. So I need to get on that, which will be next week. I just got to finish up. I got to finish up on the S11 final review. And I literally just me having to turn the camera on and talk about it for 5-10 minutes because I had a very thorough review on the walkthrough. So I'm not going to go into that detail. This is just about how I feel about the unit. And then after that, I need to move it over to the side and then start testing the Rain setup. But look, for a lot of people, the 12s are a great unit. From what I've used them for, they have been great. The problem for me was I ran into an issue where I tried to use them with the S11 and there's a little Serato bug in them. And it's just been causing a little bit of havoc. So I had to switch to DVS mode, which I'm glad that the new Rain 12s have. I don't know, and I can just say this right now. I'm really glad. The DVS mode really saves you from some of the limits of like an all digital world. And I talked about this and SK was like, what are you talking about? Digital is the way. It's the best resolution. It's like, I get it. I know what you're saying, but there's a certain feel to DVS that you can feel between switching from the USB of the 12s and the DVS. It's subtle, but it is there. So but having said that, it's also because I'm using 2.4.1 and there are some bugs there's some ghosts in the machine. So I can't necessarily give my complete review on them because it wouldn't be fair to them, because it's, I need to do it where it's like exactly the way it was intended. But they're good. They're good for a lot of people, especially people that came from controllers. You're going to love using, a armless system. It's weird when you're like using them. You put your hand all the way where the tone arm normally is. Like, that's a weird feeling. One little thing. I know Professor BX is listening. For whatever reason, it looks like I'm getting a red signal from your Wi-Fi. Just do me a favor and just check your stream and make sure you're okay as far as your data upload. Can you control deck 3 and 4 on the S11? Yes, you can do everything you want on the S11. It's not locked to the turntable device. They're literally just, think about it like controllers. Ratbone in your points. Yeah, I get it, man. Sorry. Yeah. Hey, use what works for you. DJ looks like Soul. Let's see what else we got here. Don't hate, T Diesel. Don't hate. We got Jeet in Chicago. What is going on? We have Frank Marvel in the house. What else we got here? DJ Jake says, what do you stream from? Just OBS, Streamlabs? On this one, none of them. I'm only using the Restream app. The Restream is basically a browser-based OBS. I actually have a video on that. So if the mods can find that, it would be under my streaming playlist and on YouTube. If you can find that, drop it in the chat so you can check it out. There's a lot of positives to using a browser-based system, and there's negatives also. But take a look at that. Frank Marvel, am I referring to Ecamm or Restream? I think I've already answered that question. Okay. Who else we got here? OGD Celos in the house. What's going on, man? Mark at DJ Works in the house. Mark says you're going to be on for hours with Drew. Oh, don't jinx us. Now, for a lot of you that don't know this, Professor BX, aka Drew, and I'm going to end up getting it, I'm going to be crossing those names a lot because I call him Drew. But if you were an old school DJ Works guy and you were like, all this tech support is coming from this Professor BX guy, like who is this guy? That's who we're bringing on. That's the Professor BX from currently at Pioneer. So make sure you hang out for that. Mixmaster GNL, Sarah Heretic. I think that's Heretic. I think it's Heretic. Okay, let's see who we got here. I'm almost to the bottom. See, all the mods know, and the mods have been here since day one. So since we started streaming like on YouTube only, before we made the move to Twitch, when we were like YouTube, Facebook, and we were doing quarantine DJs there. We did our last quarantine DJ last month, and it was a great show. Utter chaos, but it was still a great show. But yes, getting that show together, piecing it all together, trying to figure out what day, what time, it was so much work. I'm like, I'm good anytime, like just 5 o'clock, which we always do, 5 o'clock. Well, I have this, and Bar's like, I got to release my video at the same time as your show, and he's on the show, but he's also doing like a premiere on his show. It's like, come on, man. You are killing us right now. But, you know, hey, that's Bar. You got to know how Bar works. Bar was one of my first interviews on here, and I love him. You know, it's just that, you know, Bar is Bar. He's a very interesting guy. DJ Kashi says sometimes the software crashes. Adapt time. Yeah. I think you're talking about Ecamm. Okay. Let's see. Barty Cut says, are you using the A10 Mini Pro for everything? How's that working out? All right. So real quick before I do bring him on, I do use the A10 Mini Pro for all of my streaming needs. Now, the difference is whether or not I am streaming directly from the A10 or I'm using it as just kind of like my camera hub. Okay, it's the best way to say it. So for my interviews, the Wake Up in Cleveland shows in the morning, I use my A10 and I go USB-C out to my computer, and then my computer sees the camera and the audio as two individual pieces. I select it and we move on from there. When I'm just streaming to Twitch, I stream directly from my Mini Pro, and you can see a difference. The quality is so much better streaming directly from the A10, you know, because there's some compression and it's factoring in, not through the A10, but through like Restream and StreamYards. There's some compression that comes into play, and it tries to work that out so you get a balanced signal, audio, and everything. But as far as pure video quality and even sound quality, there's really nothing better than the A10. Now, you can achieve the same things using OBS, using StreamYards. However, it's going to take you a lot better computer to do so. If you try to run 1080p on an OBS system, your computer better be damn good. You better have a dedicated NVIDIA graphics card that's going to offload all that processing, because if you don't, you are going to struggle. So I'm a Mac system in here. I'm a Mac guy for now. All my Macs have graphics cards that can't be used in OBS or Streamlabs. So I am stuck using all of my processor power just to get the damn thing to work properly, which means that I'm outputting to 720 on all of my streams if I'm using my Mac. You know, maybe one day, I know that my buddy bought a PC and he's using it now for his streams, and you know, his streams are definitely better quality now. So maybe one day I will I'll pick up a Mac. I'll pick up a PC for streaming. We'll see. There's been nothing out there that has convinced me. If you talk to Mojax, I know Mojax is now PCing for DJing, and you know, more power to him. It's gonna take a minute. Phase Wireless coming soon though. Phase Wireless is here. I think you're talking about Phase Wireless HID mode, which is still technically not wireless. You still have to run your USB into a computer. It's not completely wireless. You just don't have to worry about the RCAs. Mike Beats in the house. That's Dusty Fingers. What's going on, man? Good to see you. DJ A-Rad. There's a lot of fans of Professor BX in the house. So they're all telling me this is going to be a long stream. Thanks for that. Appreciate that. Let's see who else we got, and then we're definitely bringing him on. What about Reloop tables? DJ Jax. Haven't used them. Gemini. Jeff rocks them hard. Yeah, but you have to understand why somebody like Jeff would rock 12s. And even if they were just okay, when he was constantly on tour, vibration is a huge issue for him. So the 12s cut away on all of that stress. So yes, there's a reason why you would want to use them. And again, there's nothing wrong with them. So I don't want you to think that I'm saying bad or good. I don't have a full opinion right now, but they're good. If you wanted to use a controller-based turntables, they're the only ones on the market right now, that are of quality. I didn't love them in high torque mode. I had to drop them down to turntable mode because high torque for me just felt weird. But everybody's different. Everybody's different. Kings and Queen in the house. What's going on? It's Canada fam right there. All right, they have a question too. We are trying out this record box updated on the Pioneer 1000, DJing 1000, and was wondering, do you have to pay monthly to use this controller? We did purchase a new plan, but can use the machine free. 100%. The DJing 1000 is in there. I forget the term they use, but basically, you just plug it in and record box will see it just fine. The Pioneer version, of course. But a lot of people don't know this, that, even if you didn't have a, you needed a subscription plan for one of your controllers, or even like unfortunately, your S9 mixer. If you bought the XP1 or XP2, it's included in there. So you just plug that in and then anything you're using becomes active. So that's a, for a lot of people might be a cheaper way in the long run. And it's a good device to just pick that up. And it gives you licenses for Serato and Rekordbox just by buying the XP2. So it's actually a really good thing. DVS mode, not just like controller mode. So that's a really good feature. Jose Lugo in the house. DJ Russ serious. Are you serious? Damn it. This is like reading license plates, man. Okay. I think we've hit everybody up. Here. Oh, we got Germany in the house. What's going on, Janata? I think we've hit everybody up. I do want to say real quick, make sure you get on my Discord, because this is the easiest way to know about all my videos when they get released, when I'm going streaming, anything I'm doing. And we're going to be setting up a subscriber only part of the area. That's going to be, some special things that we'll do just for you guys. And it'll be a good time. So make sure you follow me on my Discord, and the mods will throw it in there, because unfortunately, I don't know why they won't let you make a custom address. I guess I could do like a bit.ly. We'll talk about that later. All right. Pioneer tables look cool, and I'm a Vestex guy. I mean, they did a really good job. Let's see. I'm hoping. Yeah, they did a really good job with the look of them, with the feel. Although I haven't used the reloops, but the reloops look really good too. My only issue with the reloops, and it's cosmetic, the platters look high. Every time I've used them, when they're level with the mixer, they felt a little high to me. Not that that's a big deal for a lot of people, but hey, we can be petty. Nothing wrong with being a little petty here. All right. Let's see. Make sure anything else. BSE Music Group. Thanks for hanging out today. Appreciate that. Rick Fusion. Mac Pro forever. All right. Let's see. Anything else? All right. So we are going to move forward. No. Sure, getting out of the turntable needle game means we got to go phase or 12s. No, that is not what this means. There are plenty of other companies out there. Ortophone. What is it? There's a Japanese or Asian company that basically makes M44/7 knockoffs, and supposedly they're really good. Again, Mojax has a video on that one. We all get our information from other people. It's not just, one or the other. Okay. Jandro in the house. Kid Cut Up in the house. What's going on, fam? Good to see you in the house. I'm going to say that this has everything to do with Drew and nothing to do with me. People are just coming in droves. I mean, who wants to hear me talk for 2 hours? All right. So let's bring in Professor BX. Professor BX in the house. We're going to bring him in right now. I already did my little ad, so we're not going to go to that, but we are going to make sure that he is ready to go. So let me just flip over to a little intro, and then we'll be right back with Drew in about 40 seconds. What is going on? What is going on, everybody in the house? What is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, down that check, no drip this, tell 'em run it up, no sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch, tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, down that check, no drip this, tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, down that check, no drip this, tell 'em run it up.
Okay. So we are going to hopefully make sure. Oh, look, now you went to 4 bars. That is the most bizarre thing. Yeah, now you're fine. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Weird.
Your picture is a little grainy, but that's just Restream trying to.
Actually, I dropped it down to 480p just because I was like, yeah, maybe let's let's try to figure out what we can do.
Gotcha. Yeah, the whole thing is, you can never tell from just like the regular screen here exactly what's going on, and that's always been the unfortunate part. It's whatever they're using to analyze data is the weak link of Restream. But now you're full 4 bars, so if you did want to switch back, I mean, you definitely can. I don't even know if that's possible. Can you switch on the fly?
Probably, but having had a call dropped yesterday where I tried to do the exact same thing.
Gotcha.
Maybe not.
Gotcha. Perfect. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we do have Mr. Professor BX in the house. Give him his round of applause here. Of course, I can't even...
It's hilarious because you're on the top-down view now, so I basically feel like I'm staring at a face, because it's just right on the mixer.
Hold on, let me. Oh, it is on the mixer. That's funny because it was literally. I thought that was yours. I'm like, wow, man.
Oh no.
Let me make myself a little bigger here. There we go. It's almost like the mixer's talking to you. I know it's been a part of your life for a long time, and I'm sure you've had dreams where it's like the mixer's like, Drew, wake up. We need you to do some more testing.
I'm not kidding. About maybe 3 weeks ago, my wife was waking me up in the morning, and I was like, just not having it. And I literally started complaining to her that she was doing dual deck wrong.
That's funny. And I can believe that. So by the way, did your girl, she DJ at all? Does she have any interest in this?
No, she's actually been really interested in a while, and I hate to say it, the problem with teaching is that you invariably want to teach somebody like your own style, but the thing is even though we actually have broadly very similar music tastes, I want to teach her how to cut, and that actually doesn't interest her in the slightest, even though the thing is, she's actually a more talented musician than me. I play guitar marginally well, but she she doesn't practice as much as she'd like, so she'll tell you she sucks, but no, she can actually shred. It's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's fine. And obviously we always do that though. And I guess there's really only one way to teach, and that's how you know how to teach. And so it is what it is. So all right, so let's talk a little bit about, first off, I want to talk about your setup because it looks very impressive. Now, I've been to, I'm going to call you Drew. So forgive me. Because that's how
don't worry about it.
That's how I know you. And I'm literally talking to you and exporting out a new overlay because the Professor BX is not lined up, and that's bugging the hell out of me. So hold on, let's do that, Drew.
Hey,
okay.
Silos, I'll try to convince her.
All right, I'm just gonna. All right, so I have been to your home, and I want to explain. Well, actually, I've been to Drew's home twice. One time I went to Drew's home and nobody was there, even though he told me to come over. Nobody was there. Somebody was sleeping. See, this is what happens with the S11. The S11 will make you do crazy things. So I went over was it the following day?
Oh yeah, it was the following day.
The following day.
Yeah, I think I was up to like, was it 3 or 4 a.m. and yeah, like I was out like a light. By the way, thank you for putting me on blast. I appreciate it, especially with everyone else from DJ Works also here to embarrass me. That's pretty awesome.
Hey, I've yet to release my video, so it's coming. Don't worry about that.
Oh, I
I shot that whole thing. I was knocking on your door, I'm calling. It's all on video. Voicemail, just like, come on.
Oh my God,
you're killing me.
Oh, yo, you have look. Don't release it, but please, for the love of God, send that to me. I would find that hilarious. And frankly, I'd probably share it on my Instagram or whatever. Yes, to troll myself.
I got you. But what a lot of people don't know is that so Drew lives in an apartment, very nice, old school. It's like a classic. Who originally owned that apartment?
It was originally owned by Al Jolson and
the jazz singer fame.
Yep, and then I want to say it was Errol Flynn, but somebody like that. It was Errol Flynn or another person with a pencil mustache from the back in the day. I'm sure Sarah will correct me. But yeah, he actually owned the penthouse, and so it's one of those weird things where it's like it's the apartment in all the shows, and frankly, like one of the very few nice side effects of the pandemic, like very few, is that we used to always get these notifications every other week that like, oh, there's gonna be filming. You can't use the lobby. You can't use the elevators. You can't use the basement. Oh, you can't do laundry. And so at least we've had a brief pause from that.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. So, but, and I would hope that, at least at a minimum, they would, compensate you when they tell you can't use these things. Oh, they don't.
No. We just get to be able to say that, hey, you can tune in to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and see our apartment building.
Gotcha. So the reason why I bring it up, because he lives in an apartment, and it is a modestly sized apartment because it's a retro building. So you're dealing with that aspect right there of, everything is just smaller in retro buildings. But I walk in and we go into this room, and I've always kind of talked to Drew basically the way we're talking now. He shows me his room. He's got multiple cameras. And so I'm expecting, first off, I thought it was like 400 square feet. I mean, the camera can play real tricks on you. And I get in there and it's small, but the level of work that was put into this room to make it the way it looks now, because it really does look impressive. But I mean, he basically like vinyled all the walls, and it's sound protected everywhere. He's got like 40 fans. It's not really 40, but it felt like 40 fans. And he literally turned this into a working studio, and it's really impressive. And you did it all like on a shoestring budget.
Yeah. Like I want to say that, between like the walls, lights, whole 9 yards, like all the set decoration, I guess, as it were, was maybe like $250 or so.
Okay.
And then, with the capture cards, I did one Cam Link, and then like one $99 card. And then after that, like I actually got a bunch of the little $12, like USB 2.0 capture cards, which like, shockingly enough for like, CDE cams, they work insanely well. So yeah, like, I don't know, everyone picked up a quarantine hobby, and that was mine.
I got you. And a lot of people, the only issue with cheaper cards, the only issue is a lot of them don't do really good color separation. That's the only thing I've noticed. You know what I mean? So like once you start using things like the A10 Mini Pro or even just the A10 Mini, and you realize the color science and the way they're only allowing for RGB versus like every color that a camera can provide, that's the difference. So
Yeah.
it definitely changes things. You really should. And I think, what is the company? Yes, Camlink, not Camlink.
Yeah.
Is that Elgato?
Yeah,
Elgato,
actually,
yeah.
all right. So here, let's try a little experiment. I'm gonna see if I can actually switch my video input, because this is actually where it gets really funny. So this is coming out direct out of the Blackmagic. I'm
Okay.
gonna switch over to Camlink. Hopefully, it doesn't drop my stuff. So let's see. Yeah. So
I
actually,
saw the difference.
Yep, and
It
actually,
did lighten up.
And I just actually changed the resolution there. Actually, yeah, it worked. Wow.
Oh, there we go.
Yay.
Look how much better you look.
Thank you. But yeah, just kind of going back over here out of the Blackmagic. All right, well, now this one's not working. So never mind. But yeah, basically the Blackmagic, it actually does just nothing but compressed output, but the auto you can actually do uncompressed. And that's kind of the difference that you see with a lot of the cheaper cards, but worse.
Exactly. By the way, I'm seeing Streamlabs giving fire. How is that possible? Is Streamlabs watching the chat? Is Streamlabs in the house? Or do we have, or do the mods, do we have some sort of a fire automation?
I have no idea, but that's awesome.
All right. All right. So let's get back to you. So for most people, they don't know, or they do know, you work for Pioneer DJ. And what exactly do you do at Pioneer DJ?
I work on the product planning team. Basically, we're the team that, helps, artists to get the products that they want. And I guess, we have, it's a global team. We have, people in the States, people in the UK, and obviously the vast majority are in Japan, just because of the fact that, they're right next to the engineers.
Sure. Right.
But yeah.
So you are basically a project manager.
Product manager. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Now, as far as, for instance, like the S11. So I'm going to assume that pretty much any DJ related products that are being made by Pioneer DJ, they're going to run through you for testing, for artist relations to get their feedback and their input. Would that be a good description?
Well, through my team, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, all of us have our products. All of us have, kind of our specialties. So, one product might, be kind of, watched over a little bit more by me, versus somebody else. But at the same time, though, we all are also really deeply involved in each other's stuff. I'm insanely lucky, actually, because I've been in the industry now for 20 years, give or take, on and off, and I'm continually shocked at how, I don't know, how amazing and intelligent the rest of my team is, and it's really it's pushed me to do better because they're all really, really good at their jobs.
Sure. And look, I think if you're a successful company such as Pioneer DJ, you better have good people in the right positions, or you're just gonna fail. There's a lot of that going around where you have a lot of smart people, but they're not in the right positions. They're not where they should be, and everything just kind of falls by the wayside. So that's a testament to Pioneer putting people in the right place. Now, but how long have you been at Pioneer?
About a year and a half, give or take.
Okay. So what did you do before Pioneer?
Oh, that's a long story.
Apparently they're waiting for the long story, so it's okay. We got
Oh
7
God.
hours.
Well, I mean, the really short version is I actually had 2 stints at Staten. Um, First time, 2000, 2001. Then second time from 2009 to 2013. Let's see. Gemini, for a while, like 2006, 2007, back in the Cortex days, which is, please don't hate me. Um, then actually for a while, I kind of got burnt out on product and ended up, actually exiting out into sales because I was like, I kind of wanted to see what, I guess how other teams did what they did, and I wanted to learn a new trade skill. So I actually went to work for Beats by Dre right about a year before the Apple acquisition, and
Oh
then
wow.
actually about a year and a half before the Apple acquisition. Then was there for another year and a half. Yeah. Then after that, it was Hercules, and then I got the amazing opportunity to come back into products in at Pioneer DJ, and it's been kind of the best thing in my life ever.
Um, okay. All right. So you've clearly been involved in the industry your entire life, your entire working life, I should say.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, yes, Stanton and Hercules. I didn't know you worked at Hercules. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, it's not something that we say in polite company.
Now, there's nothing wrong with Hercules. Hercules is, there is
And
a product for everyone.
all right.
It's like, hold on, you cut out of me. Say that again. Uh-oh.
I was.
Oh, there you
Here.
go.
All right. I'm going to try to drop my resolution down again.
Okay.
Actually, there we go. All right, cool.
All right. Dropping you.
All right, sweet. But yeah. Oh, and then of course I also wrote for Scratchworks back in the day, which then became DJ Works and all that stuff, which actually is probably like the most formative thing.
And what did you do at Scratchworks? Reviews, commentaries? What was your thing?
A lot of it was reviews, but also a lot of it after a while, just my official title, just because of the fact that we had to have something that, if people asked what we did, we all, I guess, kind of had made up titles, I guess, was review editor. And mostly that was because of the fact that like I was this resident tech nerd. So regardless of what was being published review wise, it would probably cross over my desk, and then I would invariably tell Mark that, he was, wrong about the, usually wrong about like, the fader type or something like that. It was, really nerdy stuff.
Sure. And I saw, yeah, and Mark's in the house, and hey, Mark, if you're still here, feel free to tell about Drew's experience with DJ Works. If what he is saying is different than you remember, now is the time to, yeah. So guys, if Streamlabs might be a little drunk, it's not even Streamlabs, it's Restream. So we're not using Streamlabs, but every so often when we do have data issues and it seems to be getting confused with Drew's signal, it's trying to adjust accordingly. But there's nothing we can do about it.
Actually, if you want, since you're homies with the people at Streamlabs, you should tell them that they should give you an option for dropping the resolution as a person calling in, because the thing is, like, if my stream data is a problem, it's like the problem is I can't actually drop the resolution in the window. It's the same resolution regardless. Whereas, if I was like watching Twitch, I could actually drop the resolution to like 480p.
Well, I have a 480p on my side. Let's try to switch it and see what happens.
Oh no, I'm saying like even if I'm watching it, still it has like its output resolution. Like you can drop it or you can raise it on yours because it's it is going to be broadcasting the same Twitch regardless. But the thing is, like the window itself is always going to be at 720p regardless of if you're doing 480p. So like you could raise the resolution back up right now, And frankly, you look like a mosaic at this point, so I would.
I do.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we are only outputting at 720, so there really shouldn't be an issue, especially if it's coming from, if it's coming from the processing is being done on the restream side, and I'm looking at both of us at full data bars, so there shouldn't be any issue whatsoever.
And I keep on going back from like 3 to 4.
Right.
Oh, by the way, I actually want to give Silas a shout as well because like I'm feeling extra nostalgic these days. Because I actually just picked up a copy of Clips Grindin'. There we go. A couple of days ago when I was at the school, and yeah, like Silas always has Silas, he was from Fat Beats, and like most of his record collection from there actually kind of made it over to his school. So like all the good stuff. So I've never seen a better collection of like, just amazing, kind of like nostalgic records in one place ever. And yeah, like what's funny is that the reason why I brought this up is because that was actually the very first record that I bought when I moved to Florida to work for Staten for the first time. And so like I saw that and I was just like, oh my God, I need to buy that now.
So shout out to Silos. Shout out to Silos. I'm so behind in the chat right now. Let's just make sure. And by the way, if you have any questions for Drew related to, I mean, I could say related to pretty much all DJ equipment, but specifically Pioneer, this is the time to ask this man because you're kind of getting it from the source. But let's talk a little bit about DJ Jono, Mighty Rel in the house. What's going on, fam? Good to see you guys. Let's talk a little bit about the S11 and the work that went into that, the amount of work that you had to put in there, the blood, sweat, and tears. Tell me or tell them, kind of what it took to get this to where it is right now, sitting on my desk, sitting on your desk.
Well, and to be fair, it's like, there's a certain amount of like, like if I'm talking about like artists and generalities, it's mostly because of the fact that like, if I say that an artist, worked on it, like, outside of, Z-Trip yesterday, the problem is it becomes like kind of an implicit endorsement, regardless of whether or not they gave input. So,
right.
But that said, though, if anyone, people who, worked on, I'm sure that, who gave input, I'm sure that, they will be very happy to say their piece. And,
sure.
But no, like I was insanely lucky actually, because I came in, maybe about like halfway through the process. And by that point, there were already like hundreds of interviews. And it's interesting because like, Z-Trip said something yesterday that, kind of, it made me chuckle actually. And when I talked to him later, actually it's about completely unrelated stuff. I actually had to give him crap for it. Because he was talking about, the focus groups, for a feature that he, basically put down a feature that I wanted. But the funny thing is, like, there's always this weird give and take, because the fact that like with any product, you get as much artist, or at least at Pioneer DJ, you get as much artist feedback as humanly possible. And what it ends up being is this weird give and take situation where, like, you get, you ask like, 100 DJs 100 questions, and all of them have, their different answers. And at that point, then you have to weigh out, okay, well, you need this, and you need this, and you need this, and so asked for this, and so asked for this. And while this might seem niche, all of a sudden you realize, okay, well, this actually has broader implications for a larger number of users. Whereas this, and by the way, I'm not actually saying this about, about Pan or anything like that, but I'm literally just like you have to basically weigh out everything and also, basically act as a translator. And
Mm-hmm.
what's been really fulfilling at Pioneer DJ is that, like, a lot of companies I've worked at in the past, you kind of have like, this like people who are like, I'm the brains behind it, like I'm the inventor. It's kind of like
Right.
a Steve Jobs mentality, I guess you could call it. And that's not at all how we work, and it's been really wonderful. Like, you know, we're not here to insert ourselves in any products. We're here to basically figure out how to take, 1,000 disparate comments and distill them down in a way that, actually, hopefully fulfills the wants and needs
Mm-hmm.
of, of as many of those DJs as possible. And like invariably somebody's going to be disappointed that, they didn't get something they wanted. But again, like, that's what software updates are for, obviously, especially when you get, market feedback. But yeah, like,
You
these
mean like
things,
split queue?
that's something that has come up a lot. Actually, well, it's funny because, like Split Queue is also a really good example because, this product, has been in the works for, a while,
Sure.
obviously. And, you know, Split Queue has become really important post pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
because of the fact that, like, you get people who are, streaming at midnight and, like they don't want to wake the baby.
Right.
And, like people, that wouldn't have been a request that would have come up as much because, like, you actually had venues to perform at. Now you don't.
Mm-hmm.
um, so, but at the end of the day, it's like, after you collect all this feedback, it's like, if you continue to update the feature set, like, over and over and over again, like you will never release a product because of the fact that, the market, always has different needs that
Yes.
pop up.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do is you try to, I guess, as a group, sort of play like fortune tellers and, hope that maybe you, like maybe you get as close as humanly possible, and then you revisit later if need be.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, so obviously, with a product like the S11, you definitely want to get it in as many hands as possible. However, because of situations like COVID, where everybody's stuck in their homes, I would assume that that was fairly complicated. Being able to communicate with people and kind of talk them through things, and it's got to be a weird situation to be in because look, DJs are creatures of touch, and you can tell somebody left and right, okay, so it's going to do this and do this, but it's like I need to touch it. So how did that affect your ability to kind of get this job done?
Well, it completely did. I mean, prior to the pandemic, like we would have people down to the office,
Mm-hmm.
as much as humanly possible. Like there are, a lot of artists that, like, they know the layout of the office almost as well as we do.
Right.
And, not only that, but then, like, you know, a lot of us, become friends with the DJs. Like,
Mm-hmm.
my boss Lars, like he has, he's really good at developing actual genuine relationships with these people. So, like, he'll, like, he, actually gets to go to people's houses and, like, have conversations with them as friends, and, like, gets, insanely good feedback.
Sure.
And all of a sudden we couldn't do that. And what was weird is that, like, eventually, we sort of figured out a workflow where we could start, kind of, sending around, units. And it was like, I had a joke that, like, it was almost like a, Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants or something, where, like, you had, like, units, like, going from, person to person. But, like, this whole room here and, like, the multi-camera setup, it was I built it not because like I had great streaming aspirations. I mean, as you can tell, like I don't have a Twitch channel that like
Right.
broadcasts. Like, but what ended up happening was I was frankly like I was watching you and Priyan Joni, a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys inspired me because I was like, okay, well, if I can't, if we can't give them the experience of coming into, our, into our office and, coming into like, our like studio setup and like, letting them, play test things.
Sure.
But they also can't put the product in their hands. It basically, I almost joked around that like, you know, we ended up being like doing the hand modeling thing, just like where you would basically try to do virtual play tests and such. And so we
Mm-hmm.
got really good at doing remote stuff. And over time, like my setup went from like two crappy webcams to all of this. And like I ended up doing the set dressing because the fact that I wanted it to be a situation where if an artist was talking to us, I wanted to try to give them as much of an experience as I possibly could, especially in my case, because like I had the least pretty apartment of anyone, I think.
Sure. Sure. And a lot of people don't know. I mean, and he has so many cameras in his setup that like there's no way that you can kind of miss out on something like I need to see it from this way. Oh, hold on, let me have a camera. There's like literally a camera for every single angle. It's actually very very impressive and it's built up from the beginning. Now, I've so a little history about Drew and I. Uh so I actually personally met Drew. Hold on, and I might right. I'm looking at, and I'm right by the band, so I'm using it here. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat. I personally met Drew at NAM this year, actually,
Yeah.
and I was heading to the Pioneer. And for a lot of people that don't know, NAM for me this year was just about contacts and literally like trying to start getting product. I had never gotten any product from anyone. Everything that I had done reviews on, done my thoughts on, was based upon stuff that I had that I used. So if you go to NAM, when you walk into the room, there's an area that's pretty much designated for DJs. Okay, and Pioneer DJ is like the Willy Wonka factory in the middle of like everybody else. It's this humongous area. It's got screens everywhere. There's always like if there's like 20 people at a booth, which is pretty normal for everybody else, there's like 150 people at Pioneer. There are people waiting to get into Pioneer. And so this was at the same time you were releasing the V10.
Yeah.
And I happened to be standing by the V10, just kind of checking it out, now to make sure that I had any interest really in, because that's not really my thing. And then this tall dude walks up to me and starts talking to me. And I'm just like, and you have to keep in mind, like if you look at Drew, if you look at him, he doesn't give off the view of like, okay, I'm a turntablist, I'm a scratch guy, and he doesn't give that off. And I think you were even in like, you might have been, were you in like a button up shirt?
Yeah. It's like I wear them like 4 times a year.
Right. So and so Drew's talking to me and he's like, I respect your stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And literally like, I didn't think anything of it. It is what it is. It's NAM and two punk rock for the labels. Exactly. Exactly. And he's telling me, yeah, I watch your stuff and I really appreciate that you're honest about things. And I'm just like, wow, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And so, I'm like, but I need to get product. And he's like, well, I'm not that guy. You need to talk to this guy, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, a couple of months and we had been chatting, here and there, we exchange information. So we've been chatting and this was before the S11 was even, a thought for most people. And it's like, yeah, I want you to, we're going to be releasing these products. I want you to come check some stuff out. And this was literally like, I think it was like a week before they shut down the world for COVID.
Yeah, so it didn't end up happening, but like it sucked because like I really wanted you to come down, and all of a sudden it didn't exist.
Exactly. Like it was like, because he was like, we'll do it for Tuesday. I'm like, Tuesday, perfect. Let's do this Tuesday. Okay, great. And then it was like Friday, the world ended. It was just like, and for me, I was like, damn, that was my opportunity. But
I made up. Hey, I made up for it though. I made up for it. Like with this time, I'm like, I mean, hey, you got first round, so I made up. And I still made good, I think.
Yeah, and I definitely appreciate that. You know, I want to say, as far as people go, what I like about Drew, and you have red hair, so don't worry about blushing in the red.
It's actually pink.
Headphones. Is it pink?
Yeah.
Damn cheap camera cards. No. So what I like about Drew is, and I see Pulse in the chat. What's going on, Pulse? Good to see you. I know Warren was like, hey, I want to get you in contact with Pulse, and I'm like, I think we've already maybe talked. But anyway, Drew is a straight shooter, and when Drew says something or is explicit with you, there's no like sugarcoating or BS about him. And Drew is being really, really good right now, you know, as far as communicating, you know, with no potty mouth. Because normally that's not Drew. No. But what I want to say is, so even at NAMM, Drew is like, yeah, I want to get you in contact with people. I want you to start getting product because I love your reviews, and I think people need to see, even Pioneer needs to see reviews like this, where it's not just, you know, pardon the real phrase, but blowing smoke up people's asses. You know, like you get a product and you're so happy that you got the product that you're no longer honest about maybe some of the shortcomings of products, because as I've said, and I will continue to say, there is no perfect anything out there. So there's always going to be some shortcomings. Now, for a lot of people, they might be small, but it's, you know, my job as a reviewer to talk about the good and the bad. And so Drew was like, people need to hear this. They need to hear, you know, those things. So he was like, I want to get you in touch. And I was like, okay, whatever. But meanwhile, he actually was doing that, like working the back end, like trying to get people to notice me, trying to get people to actually like pay attention to me and see that I'm trying to produce quality stuff. So the single reason that I made first round S11, the sole reason is because Drew was in my corner nonstop trying to push for it. Drew and Prion too. Prion definitely also. But like
100%.
But like, yeah, but they were both literally like, no, you got to get him. And I didn't get this mixer like for, I think it was like maybe a week or so before they were going to release it. I was like, hey man, you know, am I going to be on the first run? He's like, okay, so I don't know if we're going to make that happen, but you'll definitely be like a week afterwards. Cause I've always been the 1 week to a month guy. You know, all the reviews come out, first releases, and they're like, okay, in a month, we're going to start shipping them out to you. Cool. All right, whatever. I'm not complaining. Thank you for thinking of me. And he was like, so it'll probably be a week or two and then we'll get you one. I'm like, and he goes, at a minimum, you come to me, you feel and touch the product, and then at least you can, you know, do a review. He had in his house, as you can see right there, he had the special edition version. So he's like, this is a perfect way. Maybe this is your leg up. I'm like, hey man, literally whatever you can do, I appreciate you. And then I think it was like the week of they were getting ready to release, and he's like, you need to say thank you to me. Like, what do you mean? He's like, you're getting a product. You're getting it out. You know, you sign your NDAs and blah, blah, blah. So it's all because of Drew. Literally all because of Drew and Prion.
You're being way too really real right now. I appreciate it, but no, it's like it's a group effort. But no, I don't know. I appreciate that. Like, it's really interesting because like, looking at like the chat, it's like, we got the entire DJ Works crew. We got DJ Sue, who's the he's like the turntablist reviewer for DJ Tech Tools. And Mojax, he texted me earlier saying that he was going to be on here to give me crap. I don't know if he's actually on.
He actually just posted.
There he is. I didn't invent them. In fact, actually, I worked on the first one that was done by Cortex, but then I copied myself. So there you go. But no, like what's really wonderful actually is that like, DJ Works. One thing I was always really proud of was that like we would get banned. Like we got blacklisted by multiple manufacturers. I'm not going to name names. I'll let Mark do that. But like we would do reviews that called people out, and more to the point, when they wanted edits, we didn't do that. And that's always been really important to me. So then it's like, that's one reason why I gravitated towards your reviews and like Mojax and and Sue. And it's like, I've always really respected integrity and honesty because of the fact that like, if like I like to think that we're pretty even-handed, and if we get criticism, like I am not involved in this part obviously, but like at least from what I've seen, like if people criticize us, like we're not gonna stop sending you Christmas cards. But
Right.
But yeah, like that is a very real threat to reviewers. And the thing is, like, if you don't get gear and you don't have like a hookup at a retailer or something like that, like this is messing with your livelihood. So it ends up being a situation where you end up having to edit yourself because it's it's like edit yourself or or don't eat. And that's not a bargain that anybody should have to make, especially like when you think about you're helping people actually make their buying decision, and that's a pretty big responsibility.
Correct.
So
yeah. I've I haven't personally run into this, and maybe it's because I am politically correct in how I break down negative points of a product, because I know that there are some people out there that when there is a problem with the product, it's not just that there's a problem. There has to be this spectacle about the problem and how it's just ruined the device and how you can never use it again. I'm not that guy. I will explain the problems, explain why it doesn't work for me, because look, when it's all said and done, every review we do is a personal experience. We are never talking for the world. We're talking for ourselves. And for a lot of people, it's kind of like movie reviewers. I'm a big movie fan. And there'll be multiple reviewers out there, and then some reviewers, you start to look at the way they review things and you'll go, that's kind of in line. I went and saw the movie and his review is right on point to how I see the movie. And then there's other reviews where you're like, I don't even know if you're watching the same movie as me. So you start to kind of gravitate to the people that kind of speak your language,
Yeah.
and so I think it's important to be honest. I think that's probably the number one thing, because I've run into situations where, people have tried to not so much silence me, but yeah, we'd like to see what you have before, and we want to make sure before you release it that it's like, nope. If you want that, I'm not doing a review, because I need to be able to be honest with you. And I've had really good experience with some major companies out there. Pioneer's been great. Rain is a perfect example too. Rain is really good about accepting criticism and, trying to work from it. And I was concerned when I first had my meeting with some of the uppers, the execs. I was concerned they were going to say that. And the first thing they said was, "We love your honesty." And that's the kind of people that I want to have relationships with, people that just know.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, shouts to Chris Roman. It's like
Hmm.
he's been doing it, for so long that it's like, he has also developed a really good relationship with the reviewers, and I don't know, I like to think it's the right way to do things. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I mean,
Oh, and also, by the way, shouts to Jack, my brother slash counterpart over in the UK.
gotcha.
Seriously, one of the he's he's like Mr. Resident Scratch Nerd on the product planning team over there, and an amazing dude. So
Good. Good.
and
Yeah.
also way too smart for how young he is.
As they always are. So I guess we should probably talk a little bit about the rumor mill and the way Pioneer DJ has gone over the past couple of years. I did a video on the purchase a while ago. It was purchased by one company, then it was purchased by another, and purchased by another. Um, Talk a little bit about how it's impacted your ability to do your job. Let's just get this on paper.
It hasn't.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's the funny thing. Like, you know, um, like I wasn't at the company when the for sale sign was announced. But the funny thing is, like, the people who were, it's like, you know, they were like, yeah, nothing changed for us then. And when the transition happened, it's like, I don't know, the only difference was that we didn't have a question mark, at all. And it
Mhm.
was, so in that regard, it's like, yeah, it's pleasant because of the fact that, like, even though, like, one thing that I've always really valued about the company is that, like, from, to the outside world, we're kind of like this, big black monolith, where it's like blacked out windows and such. But, like, within the company, it's, like, it's honesty and integrity. And it's like, it's very, open. And, so, like, you tend to believe them when they say things are going to be okay.
Mhm.
Um, and so then it's like, oh yeah, things are okay. And basically you were right. Thanks for not lying to us.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like, literally nothing changed. Like, my desk was the same spot. Actually, no, actually I moved desks by one, just because, my boss, my boss's desk moved. And so then I took his desk just because, like, I had this weird, like, thing in my head where I was like, yeah, if I move to his desk, that's the cool desk.
Of course,
Um,
your boss's desk. You're
and
moving up in the world.
yeah, exactly. Like, well, like, there's also, like, modicum of hero worship and stuff there. So it was like, it's kind of like it's getting yourself, putting your game face on. But yeah.
Sure. um, there are a couple of questions in the chat that I want to
Yeah.
bring up. Let's see. Deal Show said, when are the SE11 going out?
As soon as humanly possible. I mean, like, you know, they, like, they're shipping now, but it's just, the thing is, like, there's, there's always delays, like, just related to, like, shipping, some COVID, related things like that, all that stuff. So yeah, like, I, I don't want to name, retailers, but, that said, I know some of my friends at various retailers are in the chat. So please, if you got them, shout them, just because I can't endorse any of you, but please endorse yourselves.
God, such a business, so corporate.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
All right. So, okay. Mighty Rail asks, what was the thought process of choosing the sound card for the S9, and how much better is the sound card in the S11?
Well, as far as that goes, I mean, just one of the main bits of artist input was that, they liked how the S9 sounded, but then, they would also play in a club, and the 900 Nexus 2 would be there, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, like, you know, it sounded good until you compared to our top end,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, basically it's weird because it's like, you can have two mixers with the exact same, complement of, components, but just because of, like all this weird ghost in the machine stuff that,
Yes.
like I've been an electronic nerd for all of my life. It's how I got into product development. And even I still kind of, don't understand some of the weird idiosyncrasies. But like, component layout, like PCB size, like, how close components are, like, amount of shielding, like distance from the power supply, all these, weird little things can, ever so slightly, shape the sound. And then after that, like, yeah, you can do, DSP voicing on the output to, kind of like, get a target sound signature. But even then though, like you can have, two products that arguably, look the same on the scope, but they sound slightly different just because then you're getting
Mm-hmm.
to like weird things like phase and such. And it's really fascinating, but basically just the end goal was to get something that, sounded, as, like sounded on the same level as a 900 Nexus 2. And like, I'm shocked at like how much they knocked it out of the park.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's like it's the best sounding mixer in my room, and you've been here.
Yeah.
I have all the mixers
Yes,
from
all the
everyone.
mixers.
Yeah.
um, oh, by the way, shout out to Isotonic Studios. What's good, fam? Thanks for hanging out today. Yeah, as far as the sound, yeah, the S9. If there was a weak link, it was definitely the sound. And yes, if you didn't have anything to compare it to, you literally would be like, "Oh, it's good." But like for me specifically, I had 10 setups of like Rain 57s, Rain 62s, like in all these mixers. And I remember plugging in the S9, and by the way, in all its beauty, because it was a gorgeous mixer and it had things that none of those other mixers even come close to. But I noticed right off the bat, I was like, huh, the sound it's not as good. It's not as strong. It's not as full. But that did not take away my wanting to use the S9. I just had to EQ the mixer a lot more than I used to in the past. So I can tell you, and of course, look, I have not taken the S11 out. Obviously, it's been stuck in a house, but I have been listening to my playbacks, and you can hear the difference in playback from if you're using like your S9 or your S11. Like you can hear it in the recording stream. I even heard it in my booth monitors. Like even the booth monitors sound better compared to the S9. But I think Prion said it best. Um, the sound is flatter. It's a very flat, transparent sound coming out of the mixer. So it's like it's sending out a really high quality flat sound, and then you're able to EQ however you are comfortable with to get that sound to be perfect. They're not trying to colorize, the output. It's a nice flat sound. Am I correct in that? You think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's weird because like, and by the way, in answer to your question, Silos, yes, in the States, the SE does come with the orange wax, or North America, and which including Canada, it comes with the orange wax, with the SE. Sorry, I figured I'd knock that out quick. But yeah, like it's weird because everyone, like people espouse these like, weird virtues to mixers, like, not just ours, like, for instance, people will tell you like, the differences in the sound output, from the, different transformers and a Uri or a Bozak.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know, as much as of a nerd as I am, like I even struggle to hear the differences, sometimes past a certain point.
Sure.
Um, but I think that like one thing that we've gotten very good at over, the last, few years, or like 5, 6, I don't know, is not necessarily even having a sound, just like making it, making products that are as transparent as possible. Like, I don't know. It's the kind of thing where it's like if it's like if you buy a pair of studio monitors, and like you're listening to playback and you mix on them, but then it's like you go to another speaker and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, my stuff doesn't translate. And
Right.
in turn, it's like if you're actually going to a club and you're playing through a mixer and it doesn't sound right, like that's not going to make anyone happy, especially if like you work on this mixer, this edit for God knows how long. And not only that, but also if you're sending to an artist where you have zero control over the situation, so
Hmm.
that's their impression of it. um yeah.
Well, that's an easy fix. If you ever want to know how your mix sounds, you got to test it in the car.
Yeah, that
Car test wins over everything.
the car test wins over everything, but yes and no. I mean, all right, like now you're getting to like the really nerdy stuff because so the human ear actually has has a tendency to adapt actually. Like
Mhm.
I would always back when I worked for Beats, I actually did this really really fun little test where I would actually, you know, I would kind of stack the decks where I would, let people play through their, favorite headphones, listen for 5 minutes and, listen to ours. This is, by the way, like I worked basically during the post Monster era. So it actually, so like, frankly, if you're talking about the Monster era, yeah, I'm sorry, they sucked. You know, hopefully no one from Apple who's still there sees me and yells at me. But yeah, no, like they did. And then when I went to the company, it's like, yeah, we didn't do accurate, but we did our best to at least make the headphones sound good, at least, to, the EQ profile that we wanted. But what was funny then is like, you play ours after that and ours would invariably sound terrible. So then,
Mhm.
I would, you basically do a reset, you'd have a conversation. Then I would do the exact same test in reverse, and their headphones always sounded terrible because of the fact that your ears adapt to listening to specific frequencies and music that
Right.
um and so it's like you pick that up and it's like it's almost like you after a little bit you don't even necessarily hear what's being boosted or cut.
Hmm.
You only hear like what you're listening for. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Having said that, I would never ever think the studios are better. And I have a pair of solos, um, solo threes. So I
Yeah,
actually did a review on those,
yeah, the
which
broken ones.
the broken ones, which are still garbage in my opinion. Now the solo fours, I like the sound quality out of the solo fours. The studios are better, but I'm still a big fan. My top ones are still the Pioneers. I mean, I have the 1000s, the old school ones. Um, I'm still trying to get my hands on some HDs. I haven't used the 10s, so
Yeah,
I don't know. I hear those are really really good. And I'm a fan
they
of the
sound
V Motors.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I hear for especially for critical listening, like they're excellent headphones. Those whatever they call it, SX10s.
HDJXNs, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
well,
yeah.
well, it's weird because like if someone says that like one of like if someone says that a headphone after a certain point like sound like price wise and quality wise sounds bad, I'm going to tell
Hmm.
them they're wrong, almost regardless of brand.
Sure.
On the other hand, if they say I don't like the sound, I'll give you that because it's all it's all flavors of ice cream, and if you
Yeah,
don't
it's all
like a
subjective.
particular flavor, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You hear things a specific way, so they have to work for you. I come from an engineering background, not like music engineering,
Yeah.
and so my ears have always been trained to hear a flat sound, and then have a well balanced sound spectrum. And I remember putting on, I put on the beats and I was just like, okay, it's very muddy. It's fine. Now, being able to argue that I don't have to plug my headphones in for 40
Yeah.
hours, trade-offs. Take the good with the bads. I will take a 40-hour headphone over anything if it sounds decent. So
Yeah.
I actually liked the Solo 3s for that specifically, but I do know that the sound is much more balanced in the new ones. But it's gonna take. I got my studios for free from something. I think I bought a laptop or something, and then they gave them to me for free. And they are better. They are better. But I could not personally use them for DJing. There's a lot of headphones
not
out
DJ,
there.
They're not DJ headphones.
Yeah, but a lot of people use them for DJ headphones. So I plug them in. I'm just like, all I hear is noise right now. I can't hear any separation of the two tracks, and that's one of the things that I think people need to realize. Like, your headphones need to be able to handle the audio output of a mixer, because mixers push out a lot of energy into those headphones, and crappier or not rated for DJing, you're going to hear it in there and you're going to get ear fatigue, and it's all just a big circle. So I prefer the Pioneers. I prefer the V Modas. It's kind of like it's headphones made for DJs.
Yeah,
that's important.
Like I said, I'm never going to tell people they're wrong for their preference.
Yeah, so Sennheisers for me, a lot of people use Sennheisers. I love the sound of the Sennheisers, but I never liked the audio level. It didn't get loud enough for me. So in a really loud environment, I struggle to use those. But the Sennheisers are very good headphones, very good sound. Okay, let's see here.
So there was a question about echo I saw.
Oh, where is that at?
I don't know. The problem is that I can't scroll down in the chat. I wanted to check it out.
Mojek says he uses the Beats Flex wireless and they are fire. Had the old X, which I loved, but they broke a lot. That's probably the biggest issue with Beats. They break a lot just because. And so, like, I've had these V Modas, besides the occasional headphone cup coming out because I think it's a little loose and they're not clipping in properly. I've never had a single issue with the headphones. I've never had an issue with my Pioneer headphones. Well, that's a lie. I had an issue with the mini jack XLRs. Hate the mini jack XLR. Hate that. Hate's a strong word, but I'm going to be honest. I think every headphone should have things that you can replace at a moment's notice. If those things were damaged, and mine started to get damaged where I had to like keep pushing them back into the headphone to get them to actually connect, they're not easily replaced. And I'm all about convenience. So
I mean, the biggest thing about the mini jack XLR is that even though like I can understand it not being your preference, but the one strength that does bring is that like the connection is A, insanely robust, and B, it actually allows for a push button lock. But then again, that kind of goes back to like if you're assembling all the things that are important to you, and like in your buying choices, like all these things need to be considered. We all think that we're right, and we just hope that we hope that people we hope that like the most people agree.
Right. Of course. And I've heard that the X7s are like the older 2000s. It's sound quality wise.
Yeah, I mean, they're their own unique thing. I mean, I really, really like the X7s a lot, but again, they're their own animal.
Sorry, I just saw Mojax's response. He said, "I will fight you. The XLRs are the bomb." And that's my thing. When they work, they're great.
Yes,
but
Mojax, thank you.
Yeah, but I kept having this issue, and here they are right here. And, but look, I mean, these things are what, 6 years old?
Yeah,
if that. And I mean, I know and nobody can see this, but take a look at the cups. I mean, they are built like tanks. There's very little wear on these, and I used to use these every single weekend for, like, I don't know, 2 years straight.
Yeah.
But this particular thing, and my buddy had the same issue where it just once the connection gets a little loose, you just start to have problems. For me, I'm sure that if I bought a new XLR, problem would be solved. But for whatever reason, I've always had a little bit of issue with that.
Oh,
but
hey, dude, you know a guy.
I know, I really do. But sound quality wise, excellent sound. And I would say that even these are on par with like the V Modas now. And I know they came out with another V Moda recently. But if the X10s are what I'm understanding, they got to sound amazing.
Oh,
So.
there's the driver actually goes up to to 40 hertz, or sorry, 40 kilohertz, which is kind of absurd because the whole idea is that even though the human ear, we like to think that it's 20 to 20, but really, like, unless you're literally right out of the womb and have like perfect genetics where like your hearing is flawless, like none of us have 20 to 20 hearing.
Of course.
But at the same time, though, like once you get into perceptual frequencies, above 20 kilohertz, it's like like once you get like that range, it's like you don't necessarily hear the frequencies, but you like you feel them, you perceive them, and you perceive their presence. So yeah, agreed.
And apparently there were faulty batch of those cables. That's what Mojak said.
It's good to know because that was well before my time, so I didn't even know that. Thank you for the education.
I did miss out. You know what? Thank you, Mojak. See, this is the information that you can't get anywhere else. It's things like this. So if you have 2000s, now's the time to get your XLRs replaced. I did see a couple of questions. Here's a question from Ratbone. Okay. Is there a way to quickly use echo on the voice without touching the knob with the S9? Something like setting up MIDI. This is a question that Nephew Washington is asking. And if anybody knows how to hack a program, it's definitely Drew. So, is that possible?
Well, no. So the so the echo. I mean, you don't have to touch the knob. You just set it. You set the level, and then you hit the switch. One big change between the S9 and the S11. I think what you might be referring to is that the S9's echo knob had actually volume and BPM level tied together. So basically, as you increase the volume of the echo, it would also actually extend the trail. Whereas now it's like you literally just go into the menu, and then go into effects, and you can actually set your mic echo beat divider. So it's like whatever you want for your beat division, congratulations, you can have it. So then you can just preset your echo volume to taste. Because like once people like find their perfect echo level, they tend not to change it.
Of course.
So after that, it's like if you're talking, literally just flip the switch.
Gotcha. Perfect. And by the way, I will never buy a pair of white headphones. Ever. I haven't seen one company that makes a white headphone that after a year don't look like trash. I haven't seen one. If you are actually a working DJ and you're using these headphones all the time. So it's black or nothing for me. That's my style. Now, and well, I don't want to say, I mean, the other colors are fine too, like the reds and the blues. It's really just the white ones.
Well, I get the I get the luxury of not having to wear these outside of the calls. And like frankly, like if you're having phone calls all day with people, like as we all are, it's like there's a certain amount of vanity that like comes into play where it's like you're like, okay, like you suddenly like you're either like going without pants and probably eventually forgetting to turn your camera off. I hear that was a thing recently. But otherwise, like, you're like, okay, well, how can I make myself look, a little bit cooler? So then you start thinking about like, okay, well, I'm just going to accessorize my headphones to my hair.
That's funny. Hey, but if it works, it works. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got these with the little, Cleveland Terry on them. And I haven't found anybody that does those. When are you guys going to come out with custom plates?
You know,
That, and I'm not like Calvin Harris or anything, like a regular person.
well, like number one, if anyone asks about the future, I'm not going to say, a darn word. Like we're always listening and taking input, but beyond that, it's like, like if you ask me about the future, the funny thing is like my answer is always the same. We're always thinking about future products. Now, if we're not thinking about them and it's not going to happen, I will still say we're always thinking about future products because it's like, what was that?
Company man.
No, but it's like, all right, but like, all right, like, actually, all right. So going back to like the split queue comment, like, the moment that you try to predict the future, as a company, like of like, where the DJ market's going, like you will invariably be wrong within 5 years.
Sure.
If, heck, like, my first stint at Staten, I was, part of the group that, worked on Final Scratch 1.0, and we all thought it was the future. And it failed because of the fact that, like, it was so riddled with issues that, like, Serato came and ate our lunch, which, to be fair, it's like, Serato's awesome now. So, or Serato was awesome then, but, it's continued to get even more awesome. But, had we been, sitting around, like, stroking our beards and like trying to predict the future, we would have all thought that, we would have been the dominant force.
Right.
And so like at this point, like I don't say no to anything, because if I say no to something, then eventually somebody will point it out to me and I will have been wrong. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I still say the same thing though. Kid Cut Up says, go back to the 909 foot pedal interface.
You should like, was it if Z Trip's watching this, he's gonna get a laugh out of that because he's a foot pedal king. But number two, like, Smooth Echo is actually in a way a kind of actually like a callback to that. Because of the fact that the whole idea is that you can trigger based around the crossfader position. So like if you're cutting, you can actually get an echo that is only triggered on like, say like the 1 or the 4, which is, how you would, use a foot pedal. And it is, that's actually a really great example of like, taking artist input and saying, okay, well, what are they trying to achieve, and go, and kind of like, the people like, like I guess, like we're all working at, like, we all try to be translators. And so it's just kind of like, all right, well, how do you achieve what people are actually trying to do?
I'll show them what you're talking about. So if
Yeah.
if you hold it down, you see you have all these customization parts, but this part right here, number of beats to trigger the crossfader, you can adjust this. So it basically monitors when your crossfader is open and closed, and it will release the effect at that key point. So you get a lot of options. There's so many customizations about the S11. It's an impressive device. Yeah.
But Final Scratch couldn't backspin. Reverse decoding. But actually another thing though is that, like, you can actually map a MIDI foot pedal to Serato's effects. If you have the Serato effect enabled, and the paddle's up, so like basically just, with your foot pedal, hooked up, just make sure the wet dries down. So, since you're gonna have to engage the effect first, the way that the mixer's set up, then just after that, just tap the foot pedal to turn it off again. But after that, like, set the foot pedal to taste, and you can be, triggering triggering effects with foot pedal to your heart's content. You can do that right now. Yeah.
So do you want to answer a negative comment?
Sure. Let's go for it.
All right. And I can kind of relate to this. So it says one of my RCA main outputs on my S9 mixer stopped working. I searched on YouTube and found the S9 has 10 size fuses. Why do they have weak fuses, weak output audio fuse for its output instead of stronger fuses? May require a board replacement, I heard. Please advise.
Okay. Well, few answers. So number one, as far as like, actually, you know, knowing about the backstory for that, again, like I hate to say it, before my time, I always try to ask as many questions as humanly possible to everyone, much to a lot of people's chagrin. Um, but yeah, like I I don't actually know, the backstory of that. However, though, two things. Number one, watch Prion Joni's video about basically just, I guess, proper safety for hooking up your mixer to external gear, because even if even though even though everyone puts protection for fan and power in, um, like, your mixer can only take so much. And, we always continually try to improve on that, every generation of product. But yeah, that said though, like, I know that the S11 is absolutely insanely durable, in that regard. So yeah.
Yeah, and to be fair, I had problems with my main XLRs and RCAs too, and I took it in, and they were like, "Yeah, it happens on this mixer. Just make sure that before you plug in or unplug your XLRs, turn off the mixer. That's key. Don't try to do anything with audio besides maybe plug it in like your auxiliaries with the
Yeah.
mixer on. Turn everything off. So
Well,
live and learn.
even beyond that, like, so again, Prion Join did this amazing video, based upon a conversation that we were having, about this, where like he really breaks it down. But basically, it's about like when I was touring, I actually I took direct boxes with me at all times, because of the fact that I had an Allen and Heath Zone 2 literally smoke, because the sound man decided that he was going to turn on fan and power, and that wasn't cool. And yeah, it's not great to have your mixer light on fire during sound check and have to swap it out. Thankfully I got what is it, an Audio Innovate AAM 100 as a backup. But yeah, like after that, I always took direct boxes with me and always went out of the RCAs into the direct box. The direct box, I always used an active direct box that actually needed to be powered by phantom power. The idea being that, like, I can't make sure that the sound man forgets to turn off phantom power. However, though, if you're not getting sound, I can, shout at him to turn on phantom power, and I know that that will happen. So yeah.
Gotcha. Mighty Rail, these are the crossfade wireless 2s. So haven't tested any of the newer ones or the audiophile version, but these have been fine. I do wish that that they had a longer battery. They're only, I think it's 6 hours, because once you start using the solos and you get that 40 hours where you don't have to think about plugging them in. And even when you plug them in for like 10 minutes, it's like, I don't have to think about it for another week. You really do miss that. So, yeah, but sound is great. No complaints. They're good headphones. Maybe Pioneer will send me some headphones, some X10s to review. We'll see.
Not my department.
I know. So, all right. So you said you go on tour. Are you a Mac or a PC guy?
I actually was a Mac. Well, it's weird because, like, when I was touring, I was a PC guy, mostly because of the fact that, like, being in an indie band, we were poor, to put it mildly. And I continually used, like, basically really low end crappy laptops. Like, I had a Compaq and then an HP that, like, both I watched disintegrate over time. Then in 2008, I think it was, I actually switched to MacBooks. And then actually, what happened was, recently, I actually became a PC dude. yeah, like if you go full screen, um,
Yep, gotcha.
or yeah, like yeah, actually, shouts out to the DJ Works family because this is the love child of one of my brothers, Ray. It's the XMG DJ 15, and basically, like, I was really curious because mostly because of the fact that Mojax did an awesome review, and I knew a guy, and so I wanted to basically give it a shot. Plus, also I needed another test platform, and I'll be damned if it doesn't actually have the lowest latency of any laptop I've ever used, and it's kind of ridiculous because like I swapped it out for a 2019 MacBook Pro 6 core. So yeah, like it's actually kind of absurd. But
Nobody,
yeah, so
nobody believes you.
yeah, well, give me look, find me on, like on Instagram or something like that, and shoot me a message, and I will be very happy to, have like a, Instagram live scratch battle with you.
Chances are you'd win regardless. But
Oh, no.
either way, that's my review of that is coming out next week. I thought you had a review. Oh no, you had a walkthrough. You had like your.
He had the original review of the last generation. This is like the latest generation. Yeah.
Okay. I have been a Mac fan. I mean, look, obviously we all worked in the corporate environment. So we, stuck on IBMs and ThinkPads and all that stuff. But I have been on Macs since 2000 and I want to say 2008, like my first MacBook. My favorite MacBook of all time, and I will continue to say this, was the 2012 MacBook Pro. That's the best MacBook Apple ever made. That's when they went full Retina. They got rid of the CD-ROM drive, and that was a wonderful machine. Is it this one? Oh shit! It's this one. It's the one I use for streaming. So
Yeah.
so this 8-year-old computer is still an amazing piece of tech, but it definitely struggles because it's old and because of the way designs work, OBS, the architecture. So but I've been a Mac guy all my life. This is the 2019, technically 2020 8 core. 8 core with, and this is top of the line, and I can't use it with streaming.
Actually,
Just save my life.
Oh, so if you want to go full screen, all right, I'm gonna actually make you really depressed.
Okay. All right, hold on. Get over here. There we go.
All right. Let's see. So the funny thing is, like, about the 8 core versus 6 core, the reason why I went 6 core, basically I always do the speed bump on processor and GPU. However, though, a big issue with laptops in general is thermals. And what ends up happening is if you get an 8 core processor, and this is, not just like, this is in every single, this is the case with every single manufacturer. Like, if you get an 8 core processor, you actually end up getting heat generated that can, actually cause your processor to go into thermal. And what will happen is you will not get any turbo boost. You will, and so then what ends up happening that's really funny is that, like, programs like, like Serato, like Rekordbox, like OBS, they're only optimized to use a certain number of cores, and so it's like, that 8 core processor, you're probably only hitting maybe 2 or 3 cores, but then what ends up happening is the heat actually will cause your laptop to go into thermal. So so like what ends up happening is, like, that 6 core processor that you decided not to get ends up actually being faster in a lot of applications than the 8 core, especially like if you're not using Final Cut and like you're not your program isn't actually optimized for all 8 cores.
Yeah,
So,
no,
yeah.
no, I agree. I agree. This is the 16, so there's a little more space in the chassis.
Yeah.
And but still, and don't get me wrong, I love this computer. It's a
Yeah.
great feel. The keyboard is finally amazing again because that's the one thing that we missed was a good keyboard since they moved to the butterfly keys.
Yeah.
This is a great keyboard. And I see Wonderland Events. What's going on, fam? That is my Seattle fam saying the
well,
17 was the best. The 17 was a beast of a computer that it was basically a desktop. You couldn't really take it anywhere without risking breaking it. But yes, it was a good computer if you kept it on your desktop.
Yeah. Actually, though, you should actually, you should holler at Mojax because he knows a guy who can probably hook you up with the with an XMG review unit as well. Just saying.
All right,
I'm curious to
Mojax.
hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I'd be curious. Look, honestly, that would be quite a changeover for me because I literally am like Mac to the core. Everything I have is Mac. All the products that come into contact with my house, Apple,
Yeah.
Apple TVs, iPads, iPhones. Like this is how we communicate with everything. So it would be fairly interesting to move over to something like that. Nephew Washington says, "How do I bring people into my page?" I use Restream, and for the record, I use Restream, and you can accomplish the same thing with StreamYards or Ecamm. I use these things on a daily. So if you're on this thing with me, you'll know. Yeah, I use Restream. Yeah, and it's a heavy beast. That 17, 100%. When I hope they don't bring it back. I know there's always been talk. I think the 16 is the closest you're going to get to the 17, and the 16 is a good computer. But hey, try to change me. I dare you to try to change me to PC.
Well, I don't know. Like, it's funny because like, it kind of goes back to the argument of like, like, do you want a general purpose object or a purpose built object? Like,
Sure.
For like all my Officey things and all that stuff, like, video stuff. Yeah. Like I'm staring at my Mac Pro 2013 right over there that, is kicking, I have my Mac Pro or MacBook Pro, 2019, 16 inch over there. But at the end of the day, though, it's like all I care about is what actually gives me the lowest latency and highest performance for DJing when I'm actually DJing. And so, like, it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter like how good the performance is for a computer in Word if another computer is giving me lower latency when I'm using Serato or Rekordbox.
Correct. Yeah, and I'm a Final Cut guy. So that's another thing. But I do use DaVinci on occasion too. So hey, like I said, we'll see. But honestly, the whole PC thing, and yes, I think Mighty Rel has nailed it. Okay. Nephew Washington, somebody post in the chat my StreamYards versus Restream video. Pull it up. It's in the streaming playlist. If one of the mods can post that in there, that'll answer all of your questions about what I'm using and how it works. So John P, if you could post that in there, that would be fantastic. Yeah. So streaming has really taken off, and everybody realized that their Mac sucked for it. So now you can get like, I had a guy ask me just recently. He was like, "Hey, I need a better computer for streaming. What do I recommend? My budget's like $700." I'm like, "Well, you're in luck because there's this piece of shit computer with a great graphics card that's gonna kick ass on OBS, and you can buy it at like Best Buy for like $600." And he bought it. He was like, "It's perfect." Like, yeah, it's all about the graphics card. It's a really simple, stupid thing. If the MacBooks would just put better graphics cards in their computers, this streaming need a PC thing would not even be an issue at all. But that doesn't
Cleve, if your video is not working in Twitch, we gotta check this out. Everyone's suddenly shouting about black streams.
Hold on, let's take a look.
No, I'm
No,
looking
I
at
see
it right
it.
now. Weird. All right. So yeah. Cuddles. All we needed to do was
I was we were,
just poke
we
at
were,
it.
we were talking about PC. We always get issues when you talk about PC. They don't want videos canceled. Oh, and Cuddles is new. So when I mean she just started, he or she, I'm assuming with a name like Cuddles, it's a she.
Yeah.
But but I could be wrong. You know, I'm not here to try to assume orientation nowadays.
What's funny is that Kyle's mentioned about we look at it in a synth pop group, and it actually reminds me of back in the days of Scratchworks, we used to do what was it, an April Fool's joke every year, and was it the year that our second one was actually me. I wrote an article about quitting DJing and starting a synth pop group, and then Mark was saying ended the article by saying that he was going to start a Thomas Dolby cover band as well. And then what was funny is that, like, if you want, like, a fun little back, like, old story, the first April Fool's joke we actually got was actually the first time I ever received any negative angry words from a manufacturer.
Okay.
And it's funny because, like, at this point, like, I'm actually pretty good friends with Toshi from Bestex, but back then we didn't really have much of a relationship, and their sense of humor was a bit lacking, I guess, because they didn't necessarily know us. So
Right.
what I did was I actually did a Photoshop of the 07 Pro with a giant red button, and we posted an April Fool's joke about the 07 Pro Tim Westwood edition with the special bomb dropping feature. And it was like, it had like this quote from like Tim Westwood. It's like, was it the 07 Pro has the bomb drop button, because if you don't drop the bomb, how will people know that the bomb wasn't dropped? And it was like, it was just ultimate, like, ridiculous trolling. And like, I woke up the next day and I had this like angry email from a dude who worked for the distributor saying, yeah, Japan's really angry, and they're talking about like suing you, like, you need to take it down now. And it's like, what the F? And like, like, we didn't have we didn't know, like, that was an empty threat, obviously, but like,
Of course.
yeah, but yeah, it's kind of hilarious that, like, the first time that a manufacturer ever rung our bell was about literally the stupidest thing ever.
Right. 916? Who's calling me from 916? That's Sacramento. I'll let that go to voicemail. So Paul says it's not that the GPUs and the Macs are bad, just that NVIDIA has better hardware encoding. Well, yes and no, because it's been known that Apple they don't put in gamer class cards, and you need gamer class cards in order to really run OBS effectively. The GPUs are great, and for Final Cut processing and Apple processing, they're amazing. But like, I got NVIDIA cards in my old MacBooks, and they don't put in in NVIC. Is that what it's called? It's the
HVEC, yeah, but but also it's the fact that you can actually you can encode very quickly from an uncompressed signal like a YUI2 or something like that, like basically 422 video, because like, most of the cheap video capture cards are doing oh yeah, so he's going to shut us down. Oh, Mark, thank you. But yeah, most of the cheap cards actually do MJPEG. So basically, it's literally like 30 frames of JPEG pictures. So
sure,
if you're familiar with the like how JPEG pictures can be lower quality on the web, it's literally the same thing with video.
Yeah. Well, I have a $4,000 Mac that doesn't have this processing. So I'm not. It's one of those things where you can't say I'm not happy about it. Because obviously all the new Macs are using AMD, but still, they're great cards. They just don't work with OBS, and it is what it is. The DJ Expo is going digital this year. Is Pioneer participating?
Like full honesty, um, I think so, but I don't know because at the end of the day, like, you know, we're good friends with them, but at the same time though, like I am literally not part of any of those conversations, so I can't say yes or no because I literally have no idea. So
Gotcha. Yeah. Drew is kind of a mushroom. You know, like he's in his little dark box and he's killing things on his end, but like as far as like marketing and all of those things, that's not his department. Is basically, he would have to do a lot more work, and who wants to work more than you're already working?
yeah, like basically my trade show participation is limited to basically walking around and staring at products.
I want to get to know DJ A Red.
Oh yeah, that's Jared. And hey yo, Jared, I'm not a fungus, I'm a fun guy. Actually Jared is actually like so he's a good friend of mine, but more to the point though, he's also one of the dopest goth DJs ever. Yeah. Like, and it's funny because like I love talking to him because going back to like getting input from other DJs, like he has this world that like even though I guess it should be obvious that like I probably listen to like a lot of goth and punk as much as I listen to hip hop,
Right.
but at the same time like though he has this world of his mixing that like I have zero understanding of because I don't actually understand like how to mix like goth and dark wave and stuff like that. And so like just I end up like him and like as many other people, and like same with like everybody else on the product planning team, we try to have as many conversations as we can with as many DJs who are not us, because at the end of the day it's like you see it in you see it or have seen it in the past with like a lot of manufacturers where it's like they have their bubble, and like everything is kind of through the lens of like their very specific needs. And it kind of goes back to actually to the point that I made earlier about like people who are like, I'm the guy, like I'm the inventor. Right. Like if you have one person who's like who actually believes themselves to be the inventor of a product or something like that, it's going to be good for them and their friends, but the further you get out, it's going to suck, or because it's it's not made for the workflow, like it's not made for a workflow beyond like what they want. Yeah. And so it's like you try to understand as many different DJs as you can, even if that's not your style. Like, and I'm trying to be better at it every day. Like, actually, I hate to say it. That's one thing that like my boss, Lars, he is better than anyone I've ever met at putting himself in other DJs' shoes. And it's been probably like the most valuable thing for me here. So yeah.
Gotcha.
But
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Yeah, they are on fire right now.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So couple more questions. If there's any questions we still want to talk about, especially about obviously Pioneer, but hey, we can go back to the DJ Works days or the Stanton days. If you have any questions, you guys are good. Don't worry about it. If you have any questions, post them in the chat. We're going to keep them on till about noon, and then we're going to head off. So, you'll miss us when we're gone. Hey, Mark, I'm still trying to get you on. So, send me a whisper.
Mark.
Send me a whisper.
Mark.
Oh, Long Beach Lawns in the house. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Any questions for the man? This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to learn about.
It's funny. In the chat, was it JCR just asked what my thoughts on the Denon versus Pioneer DJ controversy are? None.
Yeah.
Like I hate to say it, um, if a company is like releasing products or like thinking about the what the other company is doing, like obviously you have to have market awareness, but at the end of the day though, it's like companies do what they do,
Hmm.
and I don't know, like I think that competition is good.
Competition is excellent. It's very much needed, and it puts everybody in a position to win. Because if lights dying over here, if Rain comes out with a product and it's good, and everybody's like, okay, it's good. If nobody else comes out with another product that's better or has different features that people tend to like, then, and I'm using Rain as an example, but I'm talking about in industry wide. If if their product is good enough, there is a very strong likelihood that they don't push the envelope because this is working. If we can take our time and release, maybe here's an update right here, kind of like the Apple model where people get pissed off because Apple comes out with a brand new design, and then the next year it's just like a processor upgrade. Maybe there's a new feature in it that's a new camera. It's always processor and camera. But until somebody comes out with like, oh, they have LED OLED screens. Okay, maybe we should go that route. So Rain comes out with a product, everybody likes it. Pioneer comes out with a product, it's better. Rain comes out with a product to compete with the better Pioneer product. That's good. Everybody likes that. And literally, innovation just keeps on rising. That's only going to benefit us as the consumer because we end up having a lot of options. And then what happens is I start reviewing products and I'm like, look, they're all good. This one has these features and this one has these features, but you're not going to be wrong using any of them. And that's kind of where we want to get to. How long
Yeah.
did it take for a company like Samsung for people to say, you know what? Samsung's a great phone. If you use Samsung, if you're using that phone, you're in good hands. So that's what we're doing here. And you want innovation, you want competitiveness. But I've talked to a whole bunch of industry people, and I rarely hear anybody talk trash about any other company out there. It's always like, oh, well, I don't like this product, but they're still amazing, or oh no, this is a really good product, and that's the most important part. But you got to take risks. I know Mark
Actually,
just said it.
actually, what's really funny is like, when when you guys like when you guys behind closed doors like catch us at a trade show, like we all talk, and we most of us like actually end up like giving congratulations for like successful product releases, and like
Hmm.
like like I still have friends at competing companies, and like I hope I will continue to, and same with like everyone else. It's like people think that the DJ industry is this like huge monolith.
Right.
And what's really weird is that like people think that because of the fact that there's the Pioneer DJ brand name, that then they associate us with the Pioneer Electronics brand name, which was once a huge monolith, and still a relatively large consumer electronics company, but like that's like when like they think about us as like $1 billion companies or some such thing,
Hmm.
but none of us are. Like
Right.
you could be the top player in DJ, and like like the company X will like walk up to me, like be like really jealous, like, yeah man, like that's awesome, like you're working for them, or like want like the hot gossip. But
Yes.
then like you talk to somebody at a bigger consumer electronics company, and honestly
Right.
no one cares about us because of the fact that like we're a blip, which is so like, but people get so worked up, and also again think about these companies as like again just like inhuman monoliths where like we have no soul because of the fact that they think of each company as like Apple or Samsung, and none of us are.
Yes. Right. Exactly. Um, Hold on. There was a question on here that was asked, and then I skipped it. Let me go back up. Um, Where did it go? Cuddles. Cuddles asked, do I play an instrument? Yes, I can play guitar and I can play some keys and a little bit of drumming. I was like I said, I produced all of my group's music. Check One Two, the name of my DJ company, came from the hip hop group that Paris and I were in that got signed and then lost our deal. And we were like, what do we do now? So we started the DJ company. So that's where it came from. But I literally produced, recorded everything. Did I just shock for I shocked Drew?
I did not know that. All right, so wait, so were you? I'm assuming you were the DJ, or were you the rapper? Like
I was one of the rappers. Paris and I were. It was a duo group, and we did everything. And then as we progressed with live shows, we then brought in a band. We then brought in a DJ Unique. He was our DJ, so we had a full on band. We played all around Southern California. It was a big thing. It's a big thing.
Hey, yo, I gotta hear this, and I swear, like, all right, so I get drunk or drink it in general maybe 3 times a year at this point. But I swear that, like, once quarantine ends and we can have a beer together, you might actually end up hearing the absolutely terrible rhymes that I wrote when I was 12 that actually ended up pushing me into DJing in the first place.
Right. That's funny.
Because because it ended up being like a situation where, like, when I was 12 years old, I decided I was going to be a rapper. When I was 13, I realized that I basically had no business doing it. But then Redman, What the Album, I heard DJ Scratches on So Rough, and I was like, oh my God, I need to do this. And so I ended up by buying a yard sale JVC turntable and a 19-inch linear tech mixer, and then later on a crappy GLI belt drive, and I thought I was like the battle king, even though I was just absolutely terrible.
So if anybody's asking, hey, get on my Discord, and maybe I'll start posting things in my sub chat. I'll start posting music there. So just get on my Discord, and then we'll go from there.
Cleveland. Discord.
Long Beach Lawn says, almost sold me on the Rain 70 at NAMM. Glad I waited for the S11. I'm just going to say this right now, and I'm being honest about this, okay? I want you guys to hear my words. The Rain 70 is an amazing mixer. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the Rain 70. So if you were on the fence about whether or not the Rain 70 is good, I love it. I actually prefer the Rain 70 over the 72. Now, having said that, is the S11 a fantastic mixer? Yes. And if you wanted to move up technology-wise, the S11 is the one for you. But if you have a Rain 70 mixer, you don't have to feel like, oh, I got screwed. I should have waited. The Rain 70 is a beast of a mixer. So, all right, I said it. Yeah.
4 decks.
See, company man here can't say anything about the Rain 70, and I appreciate that. But it is what it is. All right, let's see here. I did see something that Mojack said he had bars, and one day we'll have to hear those bars. One day.
Oh, hey, yo, it's Ray. It's the computer guy.
Oh, is Ray in the chat? Where is he at?
Unreal DJing. So you need to whisper at him.
Oh, gotcha. I got you, man. I got you. Let me make sure I add him in here before I forget here. Where'd you go? Oh, there we go. I don't want to ban him.
Actually, well, you need to actually get also hit Ray, just because the dude actually is the most knowledgeable person I've ever met when it comes to visualizers. Like, he's been threatening for a while to do a tutorial, and we've actually been talking about doing one together for like streaming stuff. Because like the future, like none of us can predict the future except for as streaming progresses, like things like, dope visualizers and stuff, I like to think are going to become pretty important. And he's been like, just frankly, way ahead of all of us for a while.
Yeah. And hey, I'll chat with them. Mojax is breaking it down. What is he saying here? Different effects on each deck. Okay. I might have to clarify. I did not say the S11 wasn't an amazing mixer, because it 100% is. I'm just saying it's kind of like if that guy buys an Audi and then his boy buys a Porsche. It's like, look, that Porsche is dope as hell, but you're good with the Audi also. You don't have to feel so bad that you're driving the Audi. Now, if you're rocking a 62, different story altogether. But if somebody were to ask me if I wanted to give this S11 back, I would tell them no. So if that answers any of your questions about what I think about this mixer, they'll have to pry it off my cold dead hands.
Actually, though, Mojax, it's actually an interesting conversation jumping off point as far as like design philosophies go. And it's not like, I'm not going to, diss the distinguished competition, because like, their effects workflow, has obviously garnered a huge amount of fans over the years. So, again, nobody's wrong for having a preference in flavor. But one thing that like, I think that we kind of bring to the table is that like with the S11, you have smooth echo, so you can always have an echo on, but you can also have a hardware effect, or you can actually stack three hardware and three software and one hardware. But then the thing is, even though those effects, are running on, like you can't assign individual effects to each channel, what you can do after that is you could also have, color effects. And even though you can choose one color effect at once, the thing is like, you turn on your effects on both channels, but then add color effects on top of that, and you actually end up being able to dramatically change the flavor of what's going on each channel. And I don't know, it's like just the power of being able to stack 1, 2, 6, 7 effects. Like, I like to think that's pretty cool too.
Gotcha. No, it is. It is. And I think that's the key here. There's so much strength in the S11 that it can be as simple, like meaning anybody who's ever worked in S9 can get on here and do what they normally do. And it can be as complicated is the wrong word, but it can provide you with so many additional features if you just want to. And I don't even say learn the product, because it's not really about going, okay, where is this and where is that? It's just about using the product and going, okay, everything is where it needs to be. So this is going to give you that. The Rain 70 is it's not bare bones, but the Rain 70 is just a great mixer. That's it. It's a great mixer, but it does what it does, and it does what it does well. But it does not have the ceiling that the S11 does. There we go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's see a couple more things. I'm just calling it out because on Tweak, I said there are no mixers with different effects on each channel, and I feel guilty because that's wrong. Oh, gotcha. All right. So, Resolume needs to be linked with the mixer. Kid Cutup uses Resolume, I believe. And he has a show on tonight, actually, Thursday nights, called The Hatch. It's at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And he went visually in a completely different realm. And what he's doing now is so dope. But it's not like over the top. Because there are some people, I mean, like if you look at like people like Buck Rogers. Buck Rogers has an amazing video session, but to some you're like, yeah, a little over the top, but it's still amazing. Kid Cutup's visuals, they kind of work with what he's doing, if that makes sense. So, yeah. So that's, check him out. Hatch 8 p.m. Make sure you check him out if you're up.
Actually, as far as like the Resolume link goes, obviously, like, there's there's a whole like world of things like time code and such that you're getting into like really frankly stuff that's like I guess like at that point like you're better off just like I guess using CDJs and show control or something, but like just if you're talking about like the straight MIDI control slash triggering and an Ableton link, like Recordbox and Ableton and Serato both have Ableton links, so you can get your BPM information right there. But number two, like the thing that I actually don't see as many people talking about that, like I don't know, the nerd in me is actually like insanely excited about this. Is with Touch MIDI, even though obviously like the features come pre-programmed, for Recordbox and Serato. If you want to, like the mixer outputs regular MIDI to whatever application you want. So it's like if you aren't using the default mappings, for Touch MIDI, just unmap them and then output to Resolume or what have you. And you could actually in theory do a lot of your triggering that way for like relatively basics like scene switching and things like that. Or for that matter, Ableton Live and like just holler at Isotonic because they make the dopest visualizers ever. Yeah,
there you go. I'm basic when it comes to video. Like I just need my videos to play when I want them to. When I'm not playing a video, when I'm not playing a video, like I'm playing just a regular MP3 or MP4, I need a video to connect, like Serato's random videos that I use, and for the most part, I'm good. It has effects, it has things like that, but like some of the things that these systems are doing are just amazing, and I appreciate people taking the time to like really do that. But like I'm a DJ first. I and a lot of people they're saying I do VDJ, not VDJ, but I hear VDJs is good also. But a lot of people say I VJ while I DJ, and it's like yes, but I don't want to run a show that much. I want to provide good consistent visuals while I DJ, and that's the only thing that matters to me. And I don't know. I'm not doing green screen anymore, so I've kind of given not so much but I've kind of put it on pause for a minute. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff out there. A lot of cool stuff.
Well, like and actually, as Tank just dropped the link in the chat. Like the dope thing about that is like the visualizers they're all Max for Live objects. So basically, like
I didn't know that.
So basically, you just need to run Ableton Live, like which you're an Ableton man.
Yeah.
So. Run the Max for Live objects, and again, triggering with regular old MIDI, and like if you know how to use Ableton, you know how to add these visualizers to your set, especially using Ableton Link Out. It's super dope. But yeah. Gotcha. And the reason why I laughed is because Mark asked me about Fader FAC 3000. My answer to that is I will give it to you if you promise to make it the very last review or article you ever post on DJ Works. It's actually a legendary article that I've literally been writing since 2004, I think it was, that I first thought of it. It's literally an encyclopedia of every single fader by manufacturer that's in every single, like, and by mixer generation. So like, if you want to know what mixers use a short body alpha fader versus a short body Alps Taiwan versus Alps Japan fader, it literally has that. But yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry, I'm just if I don't do this now, I will forget. So just sending out some whispers. Okay. Mark says, sure, it's not like anybody will send me gear anymore. Oh, God. Okay, so any more questions for Mr. Professor BX, Mr. Drew? Any more questions before we wrap this up?
I'm actually like kind of surprised that we didn't talk more S11, and frankly, like, this has been really fun for me. Sometimes the conversation goes where the conversation goes.
And that's kind of the way I like to keep this show. But there is a question in there I do see, and it's not nerd. That's not the question.
Yeah.
That's Mojax is that's a statement, not a question. Okay. Mike Beat official says, any thoughts on adding a quick headphone cue button on off on the top of the up faders in a future battle mixer? I guess cue like they do in, the regular Nexus.
Again, like it goes back to what the DJs tell us. I mean, like what's funny is that like we don't really dictate the features, very much, on the mixer. Like on the mixer, then obviously it's like, you have to think about essentially what can you build, with like, what can you build at the target price. But at the end of the day, it's like if the DJs are telling us to keep something or change something, it's like that is what dictates it. So yeah, my answer to that is, again, we're always working on future products, but beyond that, like I don't know, because maybe they'll tell us, but right now, like the S11 came out, so like we're not even thinking about the S 2000 Infinity and beyond.
I'm gonna hold you to the S2000 and Infinity. I expect to see a working prototype soon. This is for you. So if anybody ever asks again, you can just answer. That's how we answer now.
Hey, I gotta holler at my boy DJ Insane, because he has a t-shirt company. I gotta actually just get that printed on t-shirts.
Yes, because I do know that there were a couple people that asked about like how do you remove? That's not the right. I got to go back to it, but basically the line is, how do you decide when a feature is not going to make it into a product? Like if you thought you were going to do something and then you had to remove it, but basically it's kind of what you've been saying the whole time, is that if the DJs aren't talking about a feature, if they're saying that they don't need a feature, and let's say you have 100 DJs come in, and 98 DJs say that's a feature I will never use, you're not going to put that feature in the product. It's a bad use of time and money and everything else. So things like split queue, at the time, people were like, we don't really need split queue. Okay, fine. Then we move to now, and everybody's like, split queue would be really convenient right now, but this isn't a thing that they just made up 2 months ago. This product has been in development for years. So you have to just keep that in mind, that anytime you see a product, this has been over just multiple years, a lot of times, and there's certain things they can't change at the end of production, right before they're about to produce all these mixers. So you have to just hope that at the time that they're talking to DJs and people like myself, that it's being registered and recorded properly. But you can't really look at the future and understand that something that we use now is something that was important a year ago, 2 years ago. So
yeah, well, actually, it's funny because like, all right, so I can actually talk about the past, as far as like companies I used to work for, especially ones that are no longer here, like Staten. And I just realized that could be totally taken as like as shade. No, it's not. It's not actually shade. I'm just saying the Staten I worked for no longer exists. That's literally all I meant by that. But anyway, though, with SES4 DJ, we didn't actually think originally that we needed a librarian software. Like, it's it's funny because like, SES4, like, for the, for people who are, younger than 40, like, so unlike me, it was an embedded digital, it was an embedded DJ player that was like, it was, kind of along the lines of like like an RX2 or something like that, but long ago. It was like like a great grandfather.
Sure.
And it was pretty cool, and like it actually had onboard analysis and a lot of features that DJs demanded at the time. It was, and our goal was actually to make like kind of tractor in a box. But the whole thing was that like it had onboard analysis, and so we didn't think we needed actually a librarian software for offline analysis, because it has onboard analysis, and when you load a song, you can analyze it in like a minute. It was terrible, but like but yeah, like you could like in about a minute it would analyze, and then we realized that was really dumb. So we actually ended up cobbling together this like horrible software called QuickGrid, which is also the world's worst name ever because it sounds like Quick Grits. And
nobody wants Quick Grits. Nobody.
Oh no. Grits, yes. Quick Grits, no. But yeah, like we made it in Java, and we were thinking that okay, it's gonna be cool, it's gonna be portable. But the problem is the libraries that we used actually weren't Java runtimes, and so now you can't use it at all. But also it didn't do playlists, it didn't do anything. It just literally analyzed songs and basically did like your browse hierarchy, and then you could, and then we're like, okay, well, if you want to do playlists, you just export the playlists from iTunes. That is like just the actual playlist XML files. And then what ended up happening was like this company called Pioneer DJ. They were working on this product called Record Box, and like it was kind of okay, and then it basically had a quantum leap forward, and that was one of those moments where you're just like you're looking at what you have and you're looking at what they have, and you're like, oh that's what we maybe should have thought of.
Right.
but yeah, like it's really weird because again it goes back to like predicting the future. And at the time the feedback that we were getting from DJs wasn't that they needed an offline analysis. It did things super hyper fast. And yeah, like in retrospect, that also goes back to like making sure not only that you talk to DJs, but that you also ask the right questions, because we didn't.
Yeah, it happens. It happens to everybody, even the best of them. Okay, so let's see if there's any more questions. Wonderland Event says split Q doesn't work for me because I have different hearing in either ear. Okay, I get that. So it probably messes with your equilibrium a little bit also. Then make it compatible with Tractor. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good for today. Basically, all you told me was that we're gonna need to bring you back at some point, because apparently the DJ Works guys can go forever. They keep saying it's you, but I really think it's them.
I just think that like they're like, I have a lot of cool friends who are really good at trolling me.
Right.
But yeah, no, this was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Like, I thought that I would be terrible, and I only said like 10 likes instead of 2,000.
Hey, I try to make people comfortable on the show. I think that's the key. So if you guys found this useful, all this nerd talk today, throw the ones in the chat. Let me see those happening. And hey, Drew, fantastic episode, man. I appreciate you hanging out with me today.
Thank you. Actually, can I say two things?
Of course you can.
Number one, if anyone has any like other like questions, like tech whatever, I'm part of Cleveland's Discord, so
yes.
Holler at me. And number two, don't just throw the ones. Like throw the hundreds, like throw all the bits, like subscribe, like look, like I feel like everyone needs to actually make a pledge. Like I'm not kidding. I do this every month. Like every month the people I subscribe to, I re-up my subscription. But I also try to add a subscription to a new person every month. Just because like right now people are hurting, especially DJs, and like if you can help out, like seriously, Twitch ends up being like one of the best revenue streams for people ever. So like if you can, seriously, just start, just choose a new, person to subscribe to every month, because like this is the only way we're going to get through this together.
Agreed.
Period.
Agreed. 100%. And thank you for that shameless plug. Priya and Joni with the 100 bits. Sometimes you just gotta say something. That's my boy. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Now the question is, are we gonna have to hang out because people start throwing bits? You're gonna make me hang out even longer, people? Is that what we're doing today? Is that what we're doing?
Yo, get that. What is it called? I never forget the at the point, like what's the turbo hyper accelerator, what have you, like
the hype train.
Hype train.
Yep. Gemini with the I'm sorry, I counted wrong. Priya and Jenny with the 200 bits and Gemini with the 300 bits. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Jono with the I can't count all those bits. What is that? 20 bits? Hold on. Let's get a little music on here also, so we're not just chatting it up. There we go. Hype. DJ 6 with the bits. Thank you so much. Raw DJs with the 300 bits. Appreciate that. Oh, and the hype train has started just like that. Just like that. We got a hype train going. Make sure there's some music here. I don't like to have a hype train without music. That's weird.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's count off all these people giving hype trains. We got DJ 6 with the bits. Raw DJs throwing out those emotes. Thank you so much. Tractor and Pioneer. Pioneer when?
Look, I'm saying this in all seriousness. Talk to native, because like people think that that the stop is us.
Right.
Like software manufacturer or software makers, they write, they will write HID support or what have you to the companies that they want to or can. Like it's why it took a long time, but then we added the XDJ 1000 Mark II and the XDJ 700. It took a long time. That was just because they finally had the bandwidth to get around to it a long time after launch. So
there you go. Yeah.
So write your local congressman or whatever.
We got DZ with the 100 bits. We got J Style Sounds with the 200 bits. We got who else we got here? DJ Jono representing with the 100 bits. Thank you guys. I appreciate that so far. We are at level. What level are we on right now? What level are we on? We are on level 1, 3 minutes to go, 85%.
Level 2.
Now, how many people do we have on? Okay, so we have 120 people on, but we have 88 people on Twitch. Now, I have seen, we got Mojax with 100 bits, 200 bits, MC Twizzle. I have seen people get level 5 hype trains with 25 people on their stream. It is 100% a possibility. Let's try to get that done. What else we got? We're at 98%, 3 minutes and 52 seconds left to go. I gotta find something a little more. All of my stuff is like jazzy.
Yo, do you produce that, or where do you get your beats at?
Yeah, those are all Epidemic Sound. So
okay.
I use that for any of this stuff, but I could literally play some of my produced stuff too, because obviously it's not. I wouldn't get that issue.
Stuff seriously.
You know what?
Yo.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah. Look.
So I will play a track. I'll play a track once. I will play a track once we get to level 3. Level 3, I will play part of a track. Level 4, I'll play another track. And level 5, you know, that's easy. 1,000 bits from Raw DJs. Thank you so much, fam. Appreciate that. DJ Blazin cheering the 10 bits. We got 25 emotes shared, so make sure you post those in the chat. Who else we got? We are at level 2, 71% hype train with 4 minutes to go. This is fantastic. Should I take over first with a set? Yeah, actually, you know, if it's all original, you know, definitely. Mojack's cheering with the 200 bits. We got DJ Blazin again with more bits. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate that. You guys are killing it out there. 82%. Now, I am seeing like the same, you know, 5 to 8 people. And like I said, there are 90 viewers. 90 viewers on here. If 90 viewers sub, we're way past level 5 hype train. And you're coming back anyway every single day. So, you know, show a little love. It's extorting us. I didn't start this. Raw DJs with another 500 bits. Thank you so much. We just hit level. We are at level. What are we at? Level 3. Let's see what I got here.
Oh damn, son. Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got. Check 1, 2. Where is this stuff? Oh,
And
so
actually-
go ahead.
I was gonna say that I'll make you a deal. Next time that I come on, if we got a hype train going, I will actually play some of my old group stuff.
There you go. Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, Kid Cut Up with the 5 subs. Make sure you thank Kid Cut Up. Knocked us right out of that level. Right out of that. Hold on. This song right here actually is one of our most popular tracks. This song has been on multiple MTVs, Big Mama's House, the movie. Made us a lot of money off this track. And we really appreciate that. We are at level 4 hype train. 4 minutes to go, 35%. We're kicking ass right now. Kicking ass, taking names. And I'll actually play 12 because I know Wonder loves 12. Somebody was playing it yesterday because it's a sample that I took from somebody. And this is my boy, this DJ Paris Paul in the house. This is DJ Paris Paul. Like I said, we were a duo. He got the first verse. When it started out, I was just producing music and just making beats, just for myself. And then we were hanging out one day and I dropped it. He was like, what's that? And then we just started from there. So yeah, and I'm the next verse, in case you guys were wondering.
Hey, I gotta ask, is that chord Trinity or chord Triton?
Yes, it is.
I knew
it's a Trinity. Yeah.
Yep, I recognize that kit. That kit. Was it? For history's sake, Clips Grinding won.
Yeah,
was it lowest octave, first keys on the drum kit?
There you go. Yeah. That is okay. We are at level 4 hype train. 3 minutes to go. 35%. We need to get up to level 5. I think level 5 is necessary today. Now we're almost there, guys. Almost there.
Wait. So this is you?
That's me. Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
I love people's rapper voices because people's rapper voices never sound like them except for if you're Redman. Redman, Method Man sound like them. Yeah. Nobody else's rapper voice sounds like them. Oh, actually, also Eric Sermon. Actually,
let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out another one. 12. I'm gonna get demonetized for this. I'm gonna have to edit this out when I post it back up. I'm sure people know the sample.
But only few of us are old enough to actually have watched this when it was actually on TV.
Exactly.
When you young, it's like you made in the shade. That ain't the way it is living in the 6th grade. I was one of 3 black kids in school. I guess I was like average, like it mattered. Covered in ashy skin and fucking chapped lips. I couldn't grasp the fact that appearance was a factor. Couldn't master the art of
Level 4 hype train. We are 70%.
All right, kick up. You got a good point.
What did cut up say?
Royce 5'9". All right, so let's make the list. All right, so you got Redman, you got Method Man, you got Eric Sermon, Royce the 5'9". Who else raps in their real voice?
Biggie.
All right, yeah, that's
Sounds
true.
like your raps. Who else? Mace.
Yeah. Oh my God. Have you ever heard? Have you ever heard like his like absolutely unfortunate like early Murder Mace stuff?
No.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
Mojax, I knew you would like this. I knew you would like that. Hold on. Oh,
All right.
going into sleep mode. Hold on. 74%. Level 4 hype train. We have just 45 seconds left. We are at 74%. 74%, people. Yeah, and so does Snoop.
Yeah. But all right, so Mace was originally part of a group called Children of the Corn with Cameron and Big L. And now the funny thing is, like,
87%, 25 seconds left. We just need a sub. We just need a sub or some extra bits. And we just hit level 4. Level 4 is done. We are at level 5, people. Let's go. Go ahead.
DJ MT1. Yes, I have that. MC Paul Barman doesn't count. We don't. Yeah, I'm sorry. Lil Dicky from from the year 2000. I'm sorry. Like he doesn't apply. But thank you. But that said, though, but yeah. So basically, the Children of the Corn? They were a horror group. That was Big L, Cameron, and Mate. Now Big L, like you can imagine him like doing like Grave Digger style horrorcore, right? However, imagine Cameron and Mates doing like just doing songs about just like nonstop murder for like 4 minutes. And what's even more hilarious is that after Mace's comeback failed, he briefly signed a 50 Cent's label. And he actually released like a couple songs as Murder Mace, and it's kind of like, I'm sorry, like you were a minister like a while ago, and released like 2 clean albums that no one bought, and so now you expect me to like buy that you're suddenly Murder Mace again,
right? Like, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Somebody needs to like do like a top 10 list of failed comebacks.
All right, so what do we got here? We got Mixmaster with 100 bits, Raw DJs with 200 bits. L. Connors just gifted 5 tier 1 subs. 3 minutes left. We are at 94% hype train. 94%, guys.
I need all these tracks, and more important, I need the instrumentals to beat juggle with. I can tell. I could do dope. I could actually do a really dope routine. I think, especially with this beat.
Yeah. This was one of the last beats we made. And I can't remember why we did it. Oh, that's right. We were doing a show, and I think we were doing a show with somebody, and we were like, damn, that guy's dope. We need to make one like that. And then that's what we did.
Nice. Yeah, for whatever reason, my chat went away. It's still going on your side, right?
It's still going. Yep. We're still going. All
right. Actually, which case, I'm just flipping over. I'm just flipping over to Twitch on the phone.
Yep, 98%. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. We're about to finish this level 5 hype train up. Raw DJs with 100 bits. Raw DJs with another 100 bits. Mark DJ works with 100 bits. Hype train completed with 3 minutes left to go, guys. We still got 3 minutes on this hype train. Go ahead.
All right, so I got actually says to it was a Daily O show. All right. So this is the world's dumbest story. I wish I got my brother to watch this, but he's gonna have to watch the restream now. All right. So back in the day, like, or long ago, like I was like maybe 13, 14 years old, right? Family went down to Disney World, and my brother and I were basically wandering around away from our parents, you know, as we were wont to do. And I forgot what ride we were in line for. I see this dude in front of me. And like, keep in mind, by the way, like I was a very unfortunate looking teenager. I was like a pudgy kid with like my champion basketball jersey, and like I was like trying to be hip hop, but like I just looked really sad. And I'm like, wait a second, I recognize him.
Okay.
You're C Murder. And like I subscribed to the source and like literally had like, you know, all the No Limit Soldiers like up on my wall. So like I really recognized him. So I walked up to him and I was like, you're C Murder. And like I literally just started like asking him like questions about No Limit. And I gotta say, he may have lived up to his name, but he was the world's friendliest person to my brother and I. Like, you know, my brother was like, you know, when my brother was like, you know, let him go. He's like, nah. He's like, no, we're cool. And like he's like actually like just chatted with me about hip hop for like the 20-minute line.
Right. Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah. So shouts to C Murder. He may have lived up to his name, but very friendly to his fans.
I'm gonna play one more, and then we're definitely going to get off this stream because we went on for a while. This is actually one of my favorites, and another sample which is gonna get me demonetized, so I'm gonna have to cut this video, but you can get a listen to.
Oh.
Yo, sometimes I feel real happy, sometimes I feel real sad, sometimes I lick my lips like Cool J, sometimes I'm mad, sometimes I rock the mic, sometimes I rock and roll, sometimes I got that good foot like James Brown, I got that soul, I think that people like it, I think they really do, people looking for backpack, this ain't for you,
this would be dope to cut over.
Thank you. I know, for real, whole album going out. Hey, but that's why we have live shows. This is what this is about. By the way, everybody out there that hit that level 5, thank you so much for that level 5 hype train. I appreciate it. Honestly. And so while we're doing that, stick around for the next 5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. While we're listening, I'm checking out my raid.
Nada, so find another hottie with bottom kind of body. Wanna find, he'll hit you with the horizontal.
Everybody wanna talk shit about my style, but it's really just jealous of my versatile. Everybody wanna rock the mic, everybody wanna steal my light. You can't do it. You got house niggas give reparation.
I can't hear you over the ovation.
What, you think that you're some nation?
Back it up and say screw it.
Come on, dog, I'm a center of the world, man.
I'm a 2.5 in my top 10.
I'm a machine, you're a damn dog.
I spit pure, you spit smog. Everybody want a big dick and a nice ride, fat rims.
Everybody want a hot chick and a nice house and your CD. Who's cashing checks? Are you after check cashers every week?
Who got them dubs? Yo, upcoming spanners ain't complete.
Don't try to front, you ain't got no credit.
You can't go where I'm headed. You can't afford a
All right. Let's see. All right, just because who is it that's talking about T1? Let's see. Yo, who was it who's mentioned? Oh yeah, Daily Show.
Uh-huh.
All right. Yeah.
Ha. Yeah.
Yo.
Yep.
Yo, fun fact about this mixer. Even though it it just said basically that it had a magnetic fader. This actually was what became the Magvel fader that you find like in the 900 Nexus 2 and the 450. But because it was named the magnetic fader, a lot of people don't know this. But yeah, like the regular old Magvel was actually like good enough for our top battle mixer at the time. And the funny thing is, like, it's CT. So I gotta actually say something to you. This mixer actually is class compliant. And so is the S11, but this one,
yes,
you know,
I know. That was a big thing. I appreciate that. All right. So what we are going to do is we are going to raid. I already got her set up here. We're gonna raid Spinurita because I haven't raided her and she's dope. Super dope DJ. Honestly, like you're gonna love her. While we're continuing to play stuff that I have here. Actually, this is one of the first songs I made.
it's funny. Like, so did you DJ at the time when you were doing this, or was DJing like and cutting like something that came after?
It actually came before, and then it came before, and then I stopped, started producing. And then stopped, went back to DJ. It's weird timing.
Huh. Well, what's funny is that like when I put together ballad records for myself, like or digital ballad records, I always would assemble my tones, like basically like my tones and beats for juggling, and so like I actually use a lot of like Cutmaster Kurt beats because like he did like these perfect like staccato stabs that were just amazing for juggling, and like this song I actually hear a lot of that, so it's kind of like
gotcha.
yeah
It's I do different stuff just like normal. Yeah. All right, so we are going to start this raid. Honestly, Drew, it has been dope having you on here. I appreciate you. We're gonna just let this thing run out for the raid to kick in. Everybody stick around for Spinurita because she's dope. Yeah. Honestly, she's dope. All right, y'all.
Support her. Subscribe.
Definitely support her.
Subscribe.
Yes. There you go. All right, go. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Hit that raid. Let's go.
And you again.
Let me